All right, well.
You are now entering Maximum Driftcast, the only drifting podcast hosted by a Spanish soccer mom, a 30-year-old silver-haired fox going on 60, and finally, a 200-pound bowl of spaghetti with chimichanga arms.
The champions, we are the champions.
Hey, with the howdy ho and the hey ho. Paco, back to you.
Back to me and then back to you now, Corey. Where are we?
We are on Planet Grape Sauce. And Paco.
Is that Maximum Grapecast?
Maximum Grape Sauce. You got Paco wearing the Stunner shades.
No. These are my new prescription glasses, Corey. Apparently I'm blind now.
Yep. I heard you've been hanging out with Drake. You've been working on becoming the next Latino pop star, Papi Chulo.
Just say it.
Yeah.
Papi Chulo.
You guys, we want to announce that Paco is going to be doing a major retirement here soon from Driftcast. The show has made such success for Paco that he's became the next Latin rapper right behind Pitbull. Paco's gone by Pomeranian. And then and so we're going to have to replace Paco. So if you guys have anybody, please Instagram us with what your host name is.
Between that and taking care of Christoph's team, it's been tough, man.
Paco, I don't know what it's been, man.
Hey,
but
dude,
you just have been the breakout
I started
star
from the
of this
bottom,
whole
and now we're here,
right here.
I'm standing on a true level.
Yep, we're back in a studio that's not in your house.
Nope.
Welcome, Papi Chulo.
Yeah, welcome,
Big Balls. It's
Brian is in the control rooms. Is it the disc jockey for the night? Because it's like what do we have on schedule? Reggaeton.
Yep.
Bachata.
Yep. Some treball.
Papi. Yep.
Papi Chulo.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's what's on schedule for today. No,
can't
Corey, no, these are not my prescription glasses.
Oh.
These are dumb.
They're blocking out the haters.
Yeah, exactly. But no, dude, I went to my doctor, eye doctor
the
today.
gynecologist.
Yeah, well,
and he told you
that's what you call it, right?
Yeah.
So I went to my gynecologist, and he told me I need glasses.
No way.
Yeah, like I always had like perfect 20/20 eyesight, and in December I welded something, and my visor wasn't dimming properly, I think, and I think I fucked up my eyes.
You welded your eye shut.
I melted my
retinas,
my
in your
retinas,
cornhole.
yeah, and the corn, yep,
in your cornhole.
Yep, and
see, that's what happens if you guys weld too long without a mask. You melt your retinas in the brown eye, and it causes a whole bunch of bad eyesight. So next time you guys see Paco, he might be wearing glasses.
Yep,
man,
should be done next week.
Really?
Yeah. Now I'm gonna be as dorky as you and Sam.
Yeah, I can't wait. You're gonna love life. You're gonna love how convenient they are. You're gonna love how dirty they get all the time.
I'm gonna ask. Let's ask the people who's listening to send us do like some glasses suggestions.
Yeah, like
see what glasses should I get, because I still have no idea what should I get.
You should probably get the ones with cat ears on them.
No, dude, the ones that have like a little chain and have a mustache.
Yep. Join the chain gang, Papi Chulo.
Mustache chain gang.
Yeah, so anyways, we're going to miss Paco once he starts his Latin dance team called the Pomeranians.
We're already missing Sam.
Yeah, we're missing Sam this week. Sam was at the Nerd Burglar Ring.
The new burger ring.
Yep, the Hamburglar Ring. He was hanging out with Vaughn and the race service dudes as he's doing some sort of video. I don't know, because Sam doesn't tell us what he's doing on the road. It's like he's in the FBI.
All the red
something.
tape.
Yeah,
Sam
is... he's more of the guy that works for Area 51, RS51, where you kind of know
RS51.
Yeah, you kind of know what he's doing, but you really don't. I did ask him if he watched any Shiza videos, and he said yes.
He's totally into the Shizen.
Yeah, Shizen videos.
German Shizen.
So Sam's gonna come back a little muddy from Germany, but hopefully he can join us soon, as we miss Sam as always. And
but this means it's gonna be a very quiet and relaxed video. You're gonna probably listen to Brian's soothing voice in the background.
Yeah,
like as our consciousness.
Do you know what though? As Brian, go ahead. Give me 2 cents of what we're gonna expect later on.
Expect cool waves and calm sounds of the tires screeching the road.
Man, so we'll hear a bunch of that from Big Balls.
We didn't know we had a professional on here,
dude. My mind.
Your mind just got blown.
You know what's funny though, Paco, is
What's funny,
usually
Corey?
when we were doing these shows, we we usually try to catch up to see where everybody's at in their life.
Ketchup and mustard.
Ketchup and mustard gang.
Yep.
And we usually jumped into, like, we had Christoph's the episode before and a couple other guys where it was, boom, they're live on the show. And so I don't know what you're doing in your life. I don't know what Brian's doing in his life. I don't even know what I'm doing in my life.
We know you
So-
don't know what you're doing, so.
I want to know where you're at. What has been happening in the life of Yako?
Oh, man, it's just been a roller coaster of emotions and adventures with pretty much work. It's just been a lot of work. A lot of work at the office. There's a lot of civil engineering being civil engineered.
Civilized.
Civilized, yep.
Yep.
And honestly, that's been it. Like for me, the summer is definitely not my best time of the year. I
Right.
kind of like how do you call it when the bears go into their caves for the winter?
We call that brown snaking.
Yeah, I brown snake during the summer
Yep.
in my house. And also like it's been our break. Like we haven't been traveling. We haven't come just like taking it slow, just working. Like, I've been doing laundry for like the last month and a half.
Right.
Yeah,
Washing the same pair of underwear.
No, I
over
had
and over.
I have that big of an amount of clothes that I needed to clean. So I finally got all that done.
Yep.
And,
Nice.
I'm finally running out of stuff to do.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, I
Well,
mean,
good thing in the next 12 days or 14 days we'll be out in Seattle.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
We gotta be. It's 2 weeks. We're 2 weeks from
We're
Seattle.
like 2 weeks away from
Wow.
Seattle. So we've had this month and a half long break where that gave us just enough time to figure out our lives. And now we're going to go completely backwards again and forget everything that we're doing.
I can't wait. Dude, I think Seattle is one of my favorite rounds as well.
Yeah.
Not only is the place is awesome, and the weather is beautiful, but what's fun is like both times I've been to Seattle for Formula Drift, it's been like their year's hottest day.
Right.
Both the times. It's like, okay, like I was hoping to have great weather. And I actually last time they even had, remember there was like the fires going up at the north,
yeah.
and the whole sky was covered in ashes, and it was super weird. So hopefully this year we'll get a good Seattle experience.
Yeah, I think so. As long as the rain stays away, we've been pretty lucky this year
Yeah.
with rain. I think it only happened at one or two events, one
Yeah.
event this year.
It rained today here.
Yeah, it
like
poured rain here.
what a rain, actually. What about you, Corey? What have you been doing?
What I've been doing, I've been just getting my life together, ready for grid life. I know it's in August, it's a month away, but still so much to do, man. Like, I think after driving the car the first time, we had to change a lot of things, get new exhaust made, getting a new drive shaft, putting a new rear end in the car, going through and getting aligned again.
A new rear end?
Yeah, we're just trying to change up the rear end. I'm getting winners in it eventually, but I'm running a Z diff in the rear right now until the winner shows up with the modified subframe. So it's just, once again, getting that to survive grid life with a couple different rear gear options.
Are you gonna put a passenger seat?
Yeah. Yep. So I'll have a passenger seat in it this time through.
Yeah, because that'd be cool to go on a ride along with Corey.
Yeah.
'Cause that was a funny thing. You're getting a lot of people like, oh, your car is so cool. Can I go on a ride along? It's like,
wah, wah. Sorry, there's no seat unless you want to sit on my lap.
ooh,
Yeah.
I didn't know there was an option, Corey.
Yeah. Yep.
Is there like a special harness for that?
I just wrap my arms around you, so I hold you.
So you let the passenger drive.
Yeah, drive backwards.
You
he's
do the pedals?
Yep, he drives backwards, and then because it's
Oh, that's right. You do the arms through the.
to the other side. Yeah.
Nice.
So, no, I think it's once again, like, everybody's asked me if I was going to run St. Louis, and I kind of bowed out of St. Louis, so we'll be there doing the Driftcast thing, but it's I'm still changing so much.
And there's still 2 more rounds for
there's still
Pro 2 after
3.
No,
three.
after St. Louis.
Yeah, St. Louis. There's going to be Texas and Irwindale.
So
Yeah, we'll see if we have the bugs worked out for them. But man, it's just still so much to freaking take in and change. And I only driven obviously a couple times at Grid Life, Michigan. That I'll be able to drive a lot more at Atlanta. So I'm really stoked about that. But that's really all I'm getting ready for and hanging out.
Grid Life Atlanta.
Did you like it? Do you like it better?
Oh yeah. I mean,
Really?
so here's the thing. Right? I've been there twice already, but my first Grid Life ever was Atlanta. And I had a very fond memory of my first Grid Life, and that was the first time Grid Life happened in Atlanta, and it was okay. I mean, because it was the first time, but it wasn't as full as they expected it.
Right.
But last year's former Grid Life Atlanta, holy shit, it was completely different level. And I mean, the show, you know, it had Ludacris. It was amazing. Ludacris is a local from Atlanta,
Right.
So you know, it was like local show. It was super super cool. The weather was great. The party was insane. And judging by how big Grid Life was in Michigan this past month, I think this Grid Life is gonna be huge.
It's gonna be huge.
It's gonna be huge. Grid Life does the best Grid Life events, guaranteed. I'm telling you, it's gonna be huge. It's gonna be the best.
I thought you were gonna go Italian, but that was a Donald Trumpet.
Donald Trombone.
The Donald Tromboner. Yeah, so that's all I've been doing. I wish I had a lot more going on, but you know, the car's at National Speed with Keith. Obviously, he's working really close with Jason at PSI as far as doing a few changes to the car that we had to rush there that we're buttoning up. That's it, man. I wish I had more, but it's, you know, I'm excited to get Formula Drift going again. I'm excited to get back in the announcer stand and do the halftime show with AEM Otegi and Nexon. I do really miss that. I do miss being out there with all the people. And even though it was a month and a half off season, there was still a lot of cool drift events going on. You know, you had FD Japan, you had Gottville, you had the HGK Drift Series. So we did. I don't want to say I had a total like cold turkey with drifting because there was still so much to watch and so many cool events. But I'm ready to get back into it.
Yeah. I was gonna say like it was real quick, like that HGK Drift event, what's it called, Drift Challenge.
Yep.
It was owned by FD drivers. Kristaps in second place. I mean, his own event, and
Odie
Matt
third.
Field in first.
Yeah, so it was.
It tells you like the level of these guys, because you know how they're saying like, oh, you know, but they go somewhere else, there won't be a match. Like, oh well, there you go. These guys were driving on borrowed cars, and they destroyed the competition.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that there's no good drivers over there, but obviously, you know, like these guys are on a different level.
Well, you remember like what Kristaps said about the series. The reason he created his own series is because he didn't want any rules.
I don't want any rules.
Because that's what he designed his cars for. These tube chassis BMWs and Corvettes and Supras. He's like, well, it won't pass any other rule book, so we'll run our own event. Which those are probably the most incredibly built cars. I remember in one picture, Kristaps lifted the hood, and it's like an 8-to-1 header setup that runs right out the front of the car. It's like, dude, yeah, that would not pass tech with a cent in Formula Drift. That wouldn't work. But no, that's the thing is each series.
These are like Brian was saying. These are like the Group B of the Formula Drift of the drifting.
Yeah, like unlimited class.
Like unlimited everything.
Yeah, it's like really, really unlimited.
Just do whatever the hell you want, destroy, and looks like they did. Brian, what were you been doing? What have you been doing?
Well, I've been still messing with the LS400, trying to take care of odds and ends with that.
Right.
Yeah, we saw you had like a full angle now, right?
Yeah, Easy Knuckles sent me a kit to feel out with the car and see how I liked it. So it took a little bit of me figuring it out, getting the right pieces together, and I finally was able to do it. The car has an incredible tight turning radius, so I'm looking forward to drifting it this weekend at our local event.
Oh, you're going to run Go Fast with
Yeah.
it? Nice.
Yeah.
Hell
So
yeah. Well, we should go out there.
Oh yeah, we'll be there.
I tried getting you the last couple, and you haven't gone.
Yeah, I definitely.
So we got to get you
slacking.
out there. We're going to go to the Go Fast. We're going to route. We're going to be pit crew for Brian.
Well, let's have him give us a ride. He's got a full drift limo.
Yeah, I got 2 seats in the
Oh,
back.
Jesus Christ.
We
Yes,
should-
Big Balls. We'll do live
podcast
IG
from the
LS
Big Balls
nitrous powered
Big,
LS400.
Big Balls 100.
We do got to work on your livery.
Yeah.
What inspired you on that? I'm curious. What was that? And can you pull up a picture of your LS400?
Oh.
And so we're gonna have people critique it real quick.
Okay.
So
Well, what's funny here is that it and I'm gonna, while Brian pulls a photo, I'm gonna speak a little bit for him. But remember, I painted that car for my taste. I wanted it to be flat black, and because I wanted to make it look like a limo. But funny thing, Brian, one of his favorite cars, is the Nova from the movie Death Proof,
Yeah.
which happens to be.
well, that's what you have on the hood, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Brian's version of an 8-bitified skull and crossbones
Right.
on the hood. But it just happened to work because the car's already black, like flat black, like the Nova.
Right. So that's the hood. What about the front fenders and the door?
It was just kind of like
Can you pull up a picture? We got to show the world.
I'm trying. Give me a second.
Well, that's I don't think that's a livery. I mean, if you
it's sticker placement. You know. Here.
Hold on, here it is. Let's see.
see.
For you guys that are watching, this is the Big Balls
Look at those.
LS400. Look at that livery.
Look at the actually, dude. Those Motegi wheels look so good on the car.
That's-
And I'm the one who was telling Brian to keep the car with the 20s, but
Yep.
those wheels look
I
pretty
really like
sweet.
them.
So if you look at this thing, you have a Motegi sticker
I'm gonna
with
need another
a
one.
piston head production. You have nitrous. You have an AEM on the door. 2F performance because that front bumper looks sick.
I think is that two Elite stickers next to each other?
You got there you go. Look at that. Look at that angle. Sick angle. Big balls. Jesus.
Full send, sick
Full
angle.
send. Little man behind the wheel. Yeah, we should. There it
There
is.
you go.
There's Brian's livery. we
That's a easy knuckles.
if you guys can create a livery for Big Balls and submit something to him, maybe we'd consider modifying what Brian. This is a very NASCAR-esque, I would like to say.
Yeah, it's a pretty basic, kind of like impersonating an old early '90s style of like the
Drag
roster of sponsors on
Roster
the,
Farai. No,
I really don't have. I don't have the creativity for designing liveries and stuff like that, or liveries. And
There you go. I'm always
so
giving him shit
I'm
for
open
that.
to suggestions for sure. I mean, I have like the 8-bit skull and crossbones on the hood,
Yeah.
but
I think that one
was-
it needs to stay there. That
Okay,
one
so-
definitely. If you have a photo, let's show it real quick.
So
so we can show
you
it.
for you guys that are listening right now, what Big Balls LS400 looks like, he has 6 stickers right above his wheel well that are just kind of put there randomly on the door, which you could probably see on Big Balls Instagram of how beautiful it is. And then there's the 8-bit death proof
Skull Cross Bones, Galaga.
yeah, it's kind of like
Space
death,
Invader, sorry.
like a death-proof Space Invader kind of thing.
You know what's funny, Corey? You see
What?
the little hole in the nose of the skull?
Yep.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a nitrous purge. Purge.
Purge line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have a little bit
Because
of
it blows his knot.
Yep. How many what shot of nitrous are you running in that thing?
It was 100 when we first went out there, and it didn't feel like there was enough, but it definitely. Yeah, I'm gonna put in the 150 jets
150.
for
Right.
this weekend to see how it goes.
And you'll be just over 300 horse ponies.
I think so. Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go.
So the
Macho-
biggest
Macho Man Randy Sanchez says, put a unicorn battling a centaur on the side. Yep,
Airbrushed.
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Like, well, all 8-bitified,
So
of course.
if you guys want to submit to us a livery design for Big Balls, we'll share it on our Instagram of what LS400 Big Balls version 2 would look like.
Yeah.
But
and you know what, by the
What?
way, Corey, our
dude.
Maximum Driftcast shirts are available for sale on their website, MaximumDriftcast.com. You can get our new shirts, and obviously we have keychains.
Look at this.
We have
Paco, look at this.
stickers. We have koozies. Look, you want to drink wine like a baller like me? You can drink it of your spaghetti koozified glass. You can make it rain on Maximum Driftcast
Yep.
stickers. You can represent your favorite Driftcast podcast show of the internet. That
interwebs.
sticker's already there.
Oh, yeah. Paco has a sticker stuck on the table, and I thought I dropped it, but I couldn't peel it up.
Yeah. And also, before we continue, I have to show people this.
Okay.
So, our friend Amy made this. Let's see, you can see it.
Oh, look at that.
Instagram Aphrodite artist.
No way.
Yeah,
That's
she's
super rad.
she's a local friend here from Phoenix, Corey.
Nice.
Yeah, she listens to the show and she made a cute little drawing. Look at your mustache right there.
Yeah, man. Look at that. Got a big old melon head. My eyebrows look perfect. Sam looks flawless.
But the only thing is, like, Sam has like a brown beard, and then the fox hair, where he's actually got fox beard too.
Right.
Yeah. So, thanks so much, Amy.
Thank
Means
you,
a lot.
Amy.
We're
That's
gonna
super
keep
cool.
it here on the show on the studio that is not in my house.
Yeah. So other than
So other than that, I think
Sam, I wish
that's
Sam will be on next episode. He should be. If not, like I said, he might be in Bangladesh on a Tinder date. But other than that,
we should probably just go to bed,
yeah, we should be.
right? I mean, I think that's what we should be doing instead of. No way. What is? Wait. Are we having a flashback?
This is Throwback Monday.
Is what? Okay, let's
Hold on.
pick that up, Corey.
Paco, let me answer. Hello.
Hey,
Oh, hey. How's it going?
what's up?
You know,
Did you get my package?
Oh, did we get your package? I've seen your package, but let me see if we got one in the mail. Hold on.
No.
Wait.
The other brown package.
The other.
I think he's right. It's a brown package.
Oh, look at this. Hold on a second.
Hold on.
Let's see. Does it look like this?
There it is.
Oh, it is a brown package indeed. So
Open it up.
while Corey opens
Who is this? Who are we talking about?
yeah, let's before we go into the package, like, who are we speaking to?
What's up, guys? It's your old friend Chris.
Oh, how, old friend Chris? You look pretty young, actually.
Thanks, Paco.
How you doing, man?
I got a really bad sunburn this past weekend in San Diego.
That doesn't look like a bad summer. It looks
Hey,
like
this
a.
thing's not fragile.
Oh,
is it,
here,
Chris?
check this out. Look,
But,
that's like a whole.
Corey, you're using the wrong tool to open the box.
So I didn't know if it was fragile or not, Chris. Sorry.
No, that's okay. That's the Norwegian hammer.
Yeah, that's
The Lily Hammer.
that little.
Opening with Frederick Osbo.
So okay,
Little
so
Freddy.
for those who are on the audio version, Chris Matye from AEM Intake sent us a box. Like, okay, Corey is struggling with a Norwegian hammer.
help
What did you
Corey
use?
there?
Did you use like some astronaut tape or something on this thing?
Do you want some keys
Oh,
or something?
Hold on. Nope, I got it.
Let's see.
All right, let me see.
Sorry guys for the tension moment. What is it?
Tension moment.
Okay.
So let's see.
Corey, we can hear you. Oh, he sends a piece of cardboard.
Yeah,
Oh,
so you
thank
open
There
you.
you go, guys.
Look at this.
Wow.
SI12. This is cool.
Wow.
You can flip it over and you can write your name on
I
it.
always wanted a piece of brown cardboard.
Well, that's for Corey to write, so he can stand at the corner and ask for sponsorship.
I feel safer now.
That's what I did last time. Actually, we talked about this before. When we originally wanted to work with Chris, we actually sent him a scroll where it was mailed into him, packaged it, and scroll it to read the proposal. But
Oh.
this looks kind of cool, Paco.
Uh-oh. What is that, Corey? Wow.
So we got a case.
Oh, that's a great case.
Hold on. I shouldn't have used the hammer for this to open this thing.
Let me turn your camera up temporarily so you can show people.
All right, so
There you go.
So we just unzip this
Uh-oh.
bad hog. Unzip
We have
this bad hog.
some stripper music as Corey unzips it.
Ow,
There you go.
We got a white sheath. We got a white sheath.
Wow.
And then
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah. We don't
Corey-
need that anyway.
Corey just broke it.
For the audio-only listeners, Corey is opening up a helmet case, unsheathing
Look at that.
Wow.
a
Paco.
custom-painted helmet.
What? Look at that.
Official Maximum Driftcast
AEM intakes.
AM intakes.
Safety helmet.
Yeah, I felt bad that last year we gave your helmet away. Actually, we donated it.
That's
And,
right. For people who don't remember, it was that Formula Drift.
charity
Auction. Yeah,
auction.
charity auction, which we ended up getting the original OG one, which looked very similar to this, except it didn't have the Driftcast painting. We actually sticker bombed it ourselves.
May I
Yeah,
model
this
it?
time we actually hand-painted that one for you guys, so... pretty cool.
Chris, Barry Jones asked if this is a Sabian.
May I model that?
This is a Paul. You want to try it on? Yeah. It's not a Sabian. I thought it was Barry, but actually it's a pretty gnarly AM helmet. So we actually raffled off our last helmet, which we were more than proudly to do, and obviously thank you, Chris, for allowing us to do that, as we were just trying to think of things to raffle off, and to get
Yeah,
this
it's
thing
really cool. We had all the AEM drivers sign it, and then you guys raffled it away, and it went for charity for a really good cause, and yeah.
No, it's awesome, dude. Holy cow. And before, like I said, we sticker bombed with Maximum Driftcast, but now it looks official. And Paco, don't wear that thing. We got to put that thing on display somewhere.
Hi.
Keona. No, that's super cool, Chris. Thank you, guys. Obviously,
Yeah, this is awesome. Thanks so much, man.
another
Yeah, congrats, Corey, on,
We'll put it
on
on
getting your car
display for
fired
sure.
up
Yeah.
and running,
No, I'm super
and
stoked on that.
not blowing it up on the dyno.
Again. Yeah. No, but yeah, thanks. So, anyways, as Pac was mentioning, and so is Big Balls, this is Chris. Chris is our right-hand man at AEM. Probably a lot of you guys are wondering why Chris is here. Well, over the past, I would say, month or two, we get bombarded with sponsorship information. How do I get sponsors? How do I manage sponsors? How do I meet people? What's the best way to approach people at SEMA? We get so many messages in regards to our previous episodes where people are just confused, or they want more information, or they just want to better their program. And we like to use Chris's example because we talk to Chris very regularly, as he's a big supporter of Driftcast. He's a big supporter of myself, and he's also a big part of the Formula Drift series and so many drivers and the halftime show that why would you want to hear it from us when you can hear it from somebody like Chris? And speaking of which, Chris, I want to show you something.
We can't.
As an appreciation, where's the magical musical device? Oh, it's right there. Chris, we're going to give you a quick bass flute shout out.
It's a
Chris.
No, it's a serenade.
Cheers! I'm gonna knight you right now. You just been knighted.
Chris just got
Chris has been knighted.
night shafted.
Bass flute night shaft. But yeah, so that was the kind of the whole idea is get Chris here, so we can pick his brain a little bit, see what we can do to educate you guys and help you guys make your program that much bigger and better. And if you don't want to, go out and compete, this is great information just to have to better your life and creating relationships. But Chris, what do you do? What do you do at AEM? And actually, it's K&N as well. You probably want to elaborate on some of that history there. But what is it that you do? Because I don't even know.
So essentially, my title is Team and Partnerships Manager. And so I basically manage anything that has to do with our outside influencers, people that we're going to team up with to help promote our product, help get the word out. And that can range from anything from a grassroots pro-am type driver up to pro, up to a series like Formula Drift. I work with them directly, as well as time attack teams, road course teams. I mean, you name it. If I feel it can help benefit us and get the word out, I will reach out to them or explore that opportunity further.
So how long you been involved with Formula Drift?
Formula Drift as a partner with K&N for 3 years now. I think 2016 was my first year with AEM that we partnered up back again with FD.
And the other thing too is with K&N, emphasizing kind of on that brand a little bit, I can't imagine the amount of people that company has sponsored in the past, as it's probably been around since the 70s. I'm assuming you probably know.
Yeah, 69 was the first year for K&N.
That's a great year to start any business. So obviously they've been around since 1969, and they've been through the work. So it's like you guys have it figured out. You guys probably have done everything from Top Fuel to Pro Stock to NASCAR to
motorcycles,
Truck Series to motorcycles to Supercross. So it's not just focusing on drifting as a whole, as obviously we are very similar, I'm assuming, to a lot of these other programs, but it's just the caliber of drivers, the caliber of talent, what each sports offers. I'm sure it's each one is different and has their own perks, but it's just a very, very interesting conversation that probably not many people have had before and talked about. But so you've obviously been with Formula Drift for quite a few years. Who's some people that you've worked with over those 3 years?
Well, let's see. In pro, we have we have Forsberg, Chris Stops, Turk, Stratton, Radan, Federico, Odie, and then the halftime show that we also sponsor this year. And then through K&N, we have Vaughn, Chelsea, Matt Kaufman, Matt Field.
Nice. Yeah, you guys kind of hog
Pro 2, yourself, Dylan Hughes, Travis Reeder, Ola, Andy Haitley, George K. Yeah.
So obviously you guys had so many options, and AEM kind of being the sister company to K&N. Is that what it is?
The little brother.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Not many little sisters that work there, but so yeah. And that's the thing is a lot of people think AEM, they think AEM Electronics, but it's actually owned by probably the largest automotive parts supplier in the United States, or one of them, right?
Yeah, K&N's definitely a leader, and that's definitely a huge bonus for us because of the resources that they allow us to have for the size of company that we are. We actually have a lot of resources and a lot of knowledge here. Our sports marketing department is a 6-person team, so we understand that these partnerships are not always, hey, you cut a check and then you get, a return on it. It's a partnership. It's a team, it's a team effort. And we understand that we need a large team, 6-person team, to work with our teams, to work with our drivers, to work with our series, so we can get the most out of it for us as well as for our partners. And it's a mutual benefit or beneficial partnership in all aspects.
Now with each brand, because obviously you guys have quite a few brands there, do you guys have a strategy?
We have four brands. So K&N's the parent company.
Okay.
We have AEM Intakes, which is actually separate from AEM Electronics. So if you send me a proposal and you ask for gauges, I can't help you. But yeah, intake systems, induction systems, tubes, pipes, all that stuff, we got you. We also have Air Raid, which specializes in modern muscle, and we have Spectre.
Nice.
So
Specializes in Dodgy
up until-
bonds.
Yeah, up until the beginning of this year, I actually handled Air Raid, Spectre, and AEM as well. And so I dealt with off-road racers, pro touring guys, you name it. I mean, there's just a wide gambit of types of drivers that I dealt with.
So when you start rolling into a series, what's a few things that you kind of look for as you're getting into either sponsoring a new series, or how does your process work as far as getting involved into something? Or what are you looking for as a sponsor when you're rolling into a series?
It really has to fit what we're looking for. So whatever our marketing initiatives are for the year, we will reevaluate that. We're thinking about that stuff, now, middle of the year for 2019.
Now, and I don't mean to cut you off, but does each brand kind of have its own strategy? Because that's another thing too, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we have our products that we're looking to push, to certain markets. For example, AEM is a much younger, sport compact cars, drifting, time attack. It's a very smart customer. They know what they want. They're very tech savvy. They're very quick to adapt to new technology. Just a very smart, very technical savvy consumer. Our Spectre brand is maybe it's a price pointed or price point item. So basically, they're looking for value. They're looking to build it themselves. Our Air Raid line, for example, it's a modern muscle, high end type of product. So a little bit nicer design. We have carbon fiber tubes through Air Raid. So it's a very different customer for each brand, and we have to market it differently to each customer.
And I think it's definitely worth mentioning that marketing differently doesn't mean a product is going to have a lot less filtering capabilities.
Or a performance difference.
Exactly. Because I remember when we went you guys gave us a nice tour around your facility, and a lot of people were saying that, the Spectre filters, like they're cheap, they're bad. And no, like they're actually, you guys test those you put them through the same standards of the...
Right.
Testing.
And testing, and I think one of your engineers told us like they filter just as good as,
right,
if not at some levels better than some of the other brands. It's just maybe they won't last as long.
Well,
right?
and the other thing too is I don't want to speak for Chris,
Yeah.
but I'm just assuming. But it's once again, as you were saying, it has its own market. Like a Spectre, you can go to AutoZone and pick up 4 different coupler sizes to work with a filter.
Exactly. I just need something done right now, and I need it for...
And that's cool because it's somebody that needs something made, put together quickly. It's at a lot of these retail locations, if it's Walmart but it's just that's the type of person they're marketing. Somebody that needs to get it down now, fast, quick, and universal is what I'm kind of...
It's basically, it's being able to identify and speak to the customer and get that message out. And so, for example, with AEM, we've heavily invested in FD because the FD fan and even more so to the Maximum Driftcast audience are very, very smart. They're very passionate fans, and they're almost micro influencers because in their circle of friends, they're probably going to be the car guy. They're the one that everybody goes to ask their car questions to. So it's a very, very valuable, very very savvy customer in FD, and we see that even with how FD decides to and chooses to market its program. Its program being the live-cast. So it's people can watch it on their phones. They can watch it on a laptop. They can stream it. It's a very accessible product compared to some other series that are out there.
Well, and that's the other thing too that we were kind of looking at as the other brands. You mentioned Air Raid, K&N, AM, Spectre. When we were there at your facility, Air Raid, you were actually talking about making custom components and custom intake tubes out of carbon fiber, and you guys have your own carbon fiber division to create these specialty products for racers. And a prime example of that is, if you guys haven't heard of, but at Chuckles Garage, Scott. What you guys have done for him and his truck is freaking unbelievable.
Didn't you guys also make like a one-off, totally custom intake for what's his name? Formula Drift Pro 2 driver
Austin
Meeks.
Yeah,
didn't you guys have like all carbon fiber intake,
yeah,
right?
Austin Meeks, he has a Corvette inlet tube. It's based as a carbon fiber, dry carbon, pre-preg.
Yeah.
really nice to tube off the Corvette.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, just to expand on that further, Corey, you know, when you go to a manufacturer or anybody really for partnerships, you know, they're going to ask you, what do you want from us, and what can we do for you? You know, what can you do for us? You know, how can we benefit by working together? And oftentimes people think, oh, it's just a check. You know, cut me a check and I'll give you exposure. Like don't ever say that. I'll give you exposure. Like, give me detail. Right. How are we going to do that? How are you going to give me exposure? Or, you know, for example, we have tons of resources here. So when it comes to our carbon division, you know, sometimes we offer that to our elite racers. You know, for example, Forsberg has some carbon parts that we've made for him on his comp car. You mentioned earlier Chuckle's Garage. Right. We did a full carbon fiber underbelly for him. You know, it was foam core, pre-preg carbon. It was like $20,000 in carbon fiber. You know, that's a big partnership. Right. So those types of things are things that you can ask for. You know, hey, we want to get the most airflow into our motor because this reason, whatever. You know, I'm an off-road racer. I need extreme protection, but I also need it to flow. We can help you out with that. We have engineers on staff. We have testing facilities. There's so much more that we can offer. If sometimes we can't always offer, you know, a monetary sponsorship, we have other resources. We have, for example, helmets that we offer some racers. We'll give you a painted helmet. We'll give you a driving suit. We'll make posters. We'll do hero cards. Like, there's so many things that you can ask for that people don't think of.
So I did
and you have to start small because not everyone's going to get a check.
Since you guys are all about like maximum flow, I did a 3D scan and a very highly detailed model of the base fluid. Do you think you guys can make us like a full carbon fiber base fluid?
Yeah, we have CFD
wind
here.
tested.
We can throw it. We don't have a wind tunnel, but we do have a lot of resources.
Oh, we have Corey. He's our wind tunnel.
Super aerodynamic, lightweight, just well balanced. Yep.
Just wind test have Paco blowing on.
You can hurt your back.
No, we'll have Big Balls take a big old pull out of his vape and then blow it across and do a quick wind tunnel with a vape.
Awesome.
Blow some creme brulee on it or something.
We can remove all the brands if you want.
That would just be our personal speed test. And the last thing to pick up where you kind of left off, Chris, is you were talking about start small.
Right.
What in that sense, what does that mean? Start small.
Like, not everyone's going to get a check.
Right.
So what can you offer us, and what are you expecting from us that's realistic? You know, if you're a Pro-Am driver, it's very unrealistic to ask for money until we see what you can do.
Right. Now,
so what are you doing? You know, like what's your social reach? How are you planning on growing that reach? Are you creating your own content? Do you have a way to distribute that content? Do you have partners that are going to share that content for you? What kind of engagement are you getting? You know, there's just a lot of things that you have to have something to show before you ask for anything large. So build it up, you know, get your program together. And I say program because it's very wide ranging. The program goes from not just your driving, not just your podiums, but everything. You know, do you have a professional appearance? Does your car look good? Is it not falling apart? Those are very important things for a sponsor. So you have to oftentimes think about the perspective of the sponsor as opposed to, right. You know, my car is cool because it's missing body panels.
Right.
That's cool some places, but, you know, in reality, you know, we have a product to push, and it has to look professional, and it has to be represented professionally.
Yeah, and, you know, that's, you know, you say that, and it kind of reminds me of, obviously, because I've done, obviously, all these things that you're mentioning, and obviously learning from people like you guys really kind of help speed up how I develop my program. And, you know, I get messages every now and then that were, you know, hey, man, how do I get sponsored? Or, hey, man, I'm looking to build a turboed car. Should I go this route and this route? And what's going to help me get the most sponsors? And I personally tell people, it's like, look at your program as a whole first, and then see what you can actually guarantee when you propose that
right.
to your sponsors. Because, like, when somebody will, like, propose an idea and be like, hey, man, I'm really thinking about doing this, what, you know, in a couple keywords that I pick up on is, hey, I think I might do this. And when people say, I think I might do this, that's a quick indicator that it's not confident.
Haven't done it.
They haven't done it yet, and it's still in the testing phase. So going that route versus for, hey, do you know what, Chris? I'm just finished building my drift car. I've already tested it. I'm planning on hitting a few events. I've already ran the Vegas Pro-Am Series for the past 2 years around grid life. I'm going to go out there and do it again. I want to try to up my program, but I think with your support, it will really, you know what I mean? It's the confidence of I'm thinking and probably doing versus, hey, I got a year underneath my belt. I'm ready to take it to the next level. What are the two differences that weigh out to you? What would be a good way to approach you, and kind of what's the way that you most commonly get that's like, it's probably not the best way to come at me that way type of approach?
I guess it'd be have someone to show me, have a plan, have detail, and also, have a conversation. Ask me what I'm looking for. I'm totally open to take a phone call or a text or an email or start a conversation, because if you're going to throw all this stuff at me, it may not align with what I need. It may be awesome, but it may not align with what we need as a company or what our plans are. But just, be open and be open to listen, and I guess be creative at times too. Sometimes the guy that thinks outside the box is going to be someone that, oh, wow, maybe I didn't think about that, but what he's saying has a lot of value. So maybe this is something that I should expand on, or have another conversation about.
Can you give us some examples of bad approaches? Because I can't imagine it's like a first date when you talk to some of these people for the first time, where it's like,
yeah, I guess.
Hey, how you doing? How's the fam? Versus a different approach. But what are some things that you've experienced before?
I think some of the best partnerships I've had have started from a friendship, or just started out of me being curious. Like, for example, with you, Corey, I was like, all right, I see what he's doing. I see this has potential. I see he has a voice. I see he has a platform.
He's got the body.
And the body. He has
the strength.
The stamina.
The stamina. Yeah, but I mean, basically, Corey had a plan. And all due respect, Corey wasn't on the track at all in 2017, but his return was extremely huge because of what he did have to offer. I think you've said this before, I've said it multiple times, is a driver can never promise a podium or can never promise a win. But what can you promise me? What can you give me? And Corey was able to deliver on many aspects. With the show, for example, with his social presence, with creating content, with you guys. Like, there was just a lot of things that Corey had that I saw as, hey, this is something that we should explore.
This is something that actually I'm gonna put Corey to the test, because this is something that Corey says all the time, and I think I agree. But let's hear it from you.
All right.
When a driver or somebody who's trying to become a sponsor driver, and he comes and tells you, oh, I promise you, we're going to podium, we're here to win, we're going to win, and we're going to deliver, like, podiums and first places. What is your, like, when somebody comes approaching you that way, what's the first thing you think?
I guess it depends on where it comes from, but I mean, in all honesty,
somebody new, new driver.
Somebody new. I just credit that to them being ambitious, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with being ambitious and confident. But in all reality, that's not what I want to hear. I want to hear, what else can you offer me?
I mean, because everybody has the intentions of at least doing okay. I mean,
exactly. It's the old Matt Field, like, why even bother to show if you don't think you can win?
Right.
But I mean, that's one of the things that Corey says. Like, you can promise podiums all you want, but it doesn't matter if you're really giving it all. I mean, it's not, at the end of the day, it's not 100% up to you. There's always somebody else is going to win.
I want to add this too. I mean, sometimes a driver has, like, everything that I asked for. I mean, there's a couple drivers in particular in pro now that I have really loved what they do. I love their content. I love what they supply to us, and I would like to expand on that further. But for whatever reason it is, it just doesn't fit into our plan. And I can't. But it doesn't mean that what they're doing is wrong. It's just not right for us. But they have plenty of other sponsors that they're right for, but it just doesn't fit into our plan. Whether it's the type of vehicle they have, where they're doing their racing, the majority of their racing, whatever it is. It's multiple things. But sometimes you can do all the right things and it looks awesome on paper, but for whatever reason, it just doesn't fit with the plan.
Well, I want to elaborate on that a little bit, because that's very interesting. And you first started off saying it's okay for people to approach me asking what I need. And
right.
And by asking that question, you'll get so much information, because then you can tailor your program to adapt to what that particular brand is looking for. And for me, the past 2 years, I kind of left myself in that position, in a limbo position, to be able to adapt to what's changing, because this is always changing. Ideas, creativity, sponsor goals or brand goals are always kind of changing and molding to what's happening to the scene. So for me, I looked at it as, well, why don't I just adapt to what they're looking for and to see if I can mold my program around what they're looking to adapt or grow into? Because that means, do you know what? And this is going back, I'm willing to step in pretty easily. Do you know what? Hey, do you know what? Let's do some product for a little bit, because I do want to get my feet wet with you. And the thing is, I think by doing that is an example to show, do you know what? Let's go through this together for year one, and I want to make sure I can promise to what you want, because I can tell you this, there's probably nothing worse than coming out with a handout and getting a check and then not fulfilling your end of the deal. So by kind of going in there and getting your feet wet, it's like, hey, do you know what? Let's grow together. We'll learn together at the same time. And I don't want to say there's room for mistakes, but there's more room to learn together at that point. Because you know what? They're sacrificing some product. You're sacrificing some time. But that gives you the ability to kind of maybe fumble the ball a little bit, pick it back up, learn, grow. And then when the following year starts rolling around, you can say, do you know what? This got messed up, this got messed up, this got messed up. But we did learn this, this, and this is how we can make it better. Now rolling into next year, all right, we have a better game plan now. Now let's emphasize on that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're able to over deliver, that's a huge plus. Every year we look back, and almost like a report card kind of thing. We look back to see, where were these partnerships good, where could they have improved, and what do we need to do on our part, as well as what do they need to do on their part to take this to the next level. Right. So, I mean, I can't think of any partnerships that we currently have where they are getting a check from us where it didn't start at a product level,
right?
Or even at a discounted product level. It has to start somewhere. And I think we've laid those steps out from the Pro-Am level to Pro 2 to even Pro. There's definitely a path to get to being a sponsored pro with a monetary commitment from us. And it does start at a certain level. So
yeah, see, that's that's a lot of stuff that kind of gets blown over or left out. Is it's a lot of these guys, and even I think Forsberg, for example, he uses the brand SSR. That was his first wheel sponsor, actually his first sponsor at all in drifting, and he's still with SSR today, because it is a lot.
It's like that with K&N and Vaughn. I think K&N was one of Vaughn's very first sponsors, and that was 15 years ago this year actually. So yeah, look at Vaughn, look at Chris. They started small. Look where they're at now. Also, they're doing a lot of stuff outside of FD. They have a lot of reach outside FD, and they're creating their own content. So something like that is something that we definitely look for. We've recently this year we've reached out to YouTube influencers. I know some other FD sponsors or manufacturers have as well. They're doing more stuff. We see at the autograph signings at the events. We've seen YouTube influencers. This past week at the Nitto Auto Enthusiast Day, Adam LZ was out there drifting with Vaughn and Chelsea.
Right.
So there's definitely, if you have a wide kind of varied portfolio of how you're getting your content out there, that's huge. Because not everybody's an FD fan, so you have to look oftentimes outside of FD. Well, if you have that checked on your box of what you're going to supply us, and it's stuff that's outside of FD as well, that's another plus.
Yeah, and it's funny. That's going back to how we all met. Because we met in end of 2013, might be the first quarter of 2014. But we technically, me, you, Paco, and Sam met at a video shoot randomly that we were doing here in Phoenix, Arizona. And before this, we never really talked that much. It was more so we were all a part of the set, and we began talking. But it was actually for Vaughn, and there was a video. I'll see if Big Balls can pull it up here. But it was called 50 Years of Fun, and it was a YouTube video where it shows the 50 years of Mustang. I think that was the kind of idea. That was the 50 years of
Ford Mustang.
Of the Ford Mustangs,
which we were shooting at the Ford Proving Grounds
here in Phoenix. And so
so
Vaughn invited us to come out. Me and Dustin were kind of helping with just the cars. We would.
You guys were the muscle.
We were the muscle of the Mustang.
We were literally pushing cars around and
and shuttling them and moving. But we were just spare hands to help the guys. Paco was there helping as well, and then Sam was also shooting with Gay Andy at Shoot First Media at the time. So they contracted Sam in because Sam was here. And Big Balls, you can play it, by the way, and I'll talk over it.
and play it on mute if you want to.
Yeah. So this is a Fox body that I built back in 2012 with my buddy Gary from Creations in Chrome. And I used to work there for Gary, and it's this red Fox body coming up.
So right there, me and Dustin actually threw those tumbleweeds in front of we actually threw those.
Let's break it apart. I mean, that's
Let's get
actually
some sound in this.
Yeah. So
this is it.
Oh, there's the Fox body. That was
Fox.
Chris's Fox body. So, so we were part of this. This was shot here in Arizona. But once again, the idea is we go out there purely for fun to help Vaughn. He obviously had all his Mustangs out there drifting around. And it was like a closed course for us today. Vaughn asked us as friends to help him. And we're like, sure, dude, you're in the area. We'll hang out and eat some food and drive some Mustangs. And, we run into guys like Chris. And there was so many other people there.
There's a lot of drivers right there going on at the same time.
Yeah, so Forsberg was there.
This is a cool shot here with a morph.
Yep.
So Vaughn handpicked all these Mustangs. And basically, it was a Mustang from every generation, so back from like the 65, the Coupe Mustangs to some fastbacks in the 70s, a Mustang 2 to our Fox body.
Yeah, it was inside one of those Mustangs sitting there when, there's a Turk and Forsberg were going around the room, remember? Yep.
And I remember these shots here. This was like, sun's going down. We have about 15 more minutes to shoot. Just do something.
Larry Chen was there too.
Yeah, that's when we first started.
There too,
first started hanging out with Larry and everybody. But the whole point of this is, you can meet people anywhere, and it's, from us not knowing each other, but just joking around, having fun for the day, and it can evolve into something that you never really expect. But it's just that relationship and that personal connection you can get from just meeting people anywhere.
Yep.
Somebody on YouTube said 50 Shades of Vaughn.
50 Shades of Vaughn.
That was Brad Davis. Good job, buddy.
So that's actually where we first met. We actually, Chris, from that point on, it took us almost 3 years to actually do anything together. 4 years, 3 years?
Right. About 3 years.
Yeah, so it obviously takes time, but it evolves over time.
Back then, Driftcast it wasn't even an idea.
No, it was more so, for us back then, it was more so the media fun stuff. That's what we were doing, because Sam was still out here.
We were trying to do the One Tire Fire
That was
YouTube
just
show.
after your Hoonigan Sponsor Me video?
Yep, that was filmed out here during that time. Then me and Paco actually were wanting to start a YouTube channel that it was going to be stupid car-related automotive stuff, but it was...
like auto news and interviews and just fun stuff.
Well, and that's the other thing. Going back to outside of sponsorships, it's also going back to working with people you like being around and working with people that you like working with. That's another big thing that people look over. I've worked with people before, and like they even gave me let's say potential monetary sponsorship, but they were so hard to deal with, and they were not fun, and they limited me on creativity. They said, we want you to do this, but don't do this. And it's like, but for me, that's who I am. That's the content I like creating. And this is what's separating me from everybody else. Because I do believe in some degree, Chris, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, that as soon as you kind of get into a pinch where you're limited off your creativity and things, and then you turn into this cookie cutter guy where it's going out there, putting a sticker on the car, very robotic, give me a top 32 review the product, that it takes away a little bit from what that driver could potentially be, because of they're limited now by creativity. And that's the one thing, going back to Chris and AEM, that I do enjoy is, we've been hanging out with Chris since 2013, but he understands our personality. He understands our characters. Going back to Irwindale, it was the Irwindale, the officially shutting down for the third year. It's like,
there you go.
It was funny because we kind of got yelled at by Formula Drift about those. But what does it say? It says, oh God, I can't even read it. What does it say, Chris? Can you read it real quick?
It says October 2017. I might have been at the last Irwindale.
But that's, once again, that's something that I was like, Chris brought up, brainstorm, talked to Sam about shooting a video, and it.
And AEM as a company were backing up. They're like, sure, let's do it.
Because it was just so unique and creative.
Yeah.
It wasn't that.
Yeah, it was right, for that kind of environment. I think, a lot of people kind of thought that was funny. But it was tongue in cheek. It was not a knock against FD at all, because we knew it was out of their hands. And it had been this reoccurring theme. This is the last Irwindale. and it wasn't.
Yeah, and I think
we saw, and it's just.
I think
Yeah,
some of the problem with that, it was that a lot of people were actually taking hits at Formula Drift without knowing that this has nothing to do with Formula Drift. Where us, we were just like having fun.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was out of FD's hands. I mean, they fought hard, but then it was out of their hands. There was nothing that they could do.
At the end of the day, I mean, we're all happy to be back at Irwindale.
Oh, for sure.
And I mean,
my first pro event was at Irwindale. I mean, I remember that. That was the driver search. Back
what were you driving?
No, I mean, first one I attended.
Not just kidding.
What year was that?
03, 04?
03, 04. Yeah, that was like the beginning right there. That was the beginning of Formula Drift. So you obviously work with quite a few drivers. Can you elaborate on what makes you work with certain drivers in Formula Drift? Like, what are some benefits that what caught your eye of each driver?
I guess it has to fit, the vehicles that we make, product for.
Yep.
So, for example, we have, Chris stops with the LS. We have a lot of guys that do LS swaps, and we have, universal tube kits. Basically, it's a box you can buy. You can cut your own tubes. We supply clamps and hoses. That fits well for the LS guys. We have lots of Nissan guys that we sell kits for, so that works well with Forsberg. So, definitely there has to be relevance, and the part has to be, we have to be able to show that the part is usable. The same part you can buy off the shelf is the same part you can throw on your race car and go compete, and, it's going to work just fine. So, and on top of that, we also have to have a driver that's likable, a driver that's professional, a driver that has a wide range of avenues to get the word out,
Right. So is there a difference of marketing between Kristaps and Forsberg? Is there also a character-based recognition that you look at as like, we like Kristaps because of his attitude, his team? Like, is there more to it rather than just product fitting his car?
You can look at Kristaps and he's won the fan favorite award the last 2 years. I mean, people identify with him. It's a small team. If you've ever seen him at the track, every crew member on Kristaps' team is busting their ass, and he's the little guy at sometimes, but he's a fighter, and he's someone that I think that people identify really, really well with.
And then you compare that to versus Forsberg.
He's an outsider that's going to come kick your ass if you're not careful. So.
Oh, for sure. But then how do you compare him to Forsberg? What do you look at in Forsberg? Obviously, he drives a 370Z with a V6 in it, and your product's
Forsberg has the audience. He's great in front of the camera. He can do a promo and knock it out, with hardly any effort. He's great on camera. He's a great spokesperson. He has a wide range of large sponsors that have invested heavily in the series as well. So you also have that auxiliary reach from those other sponsors as well. You're kind of tagging along for the ride sometimes, but at the same time, we feel that we have stuff to offer him as well.
Right. So, okay, let's say you have somebody like a Kristaps and you have a Forsberg. You're hooking up a product. At what point in a relationship do you feel it's okay to ask for monetary?
I mean, it doesn't hurt to ask. I'd say at any point, if you feel you have something to offer us, I would invite you to. Absolutely.
So it could be pretty much at any point in that relationship, you can be like, you know what? I feel I'm at a position now. If I had just had a few more bucks, we can do so much more stuff.
And also, too, I mean, like I said, we're a large company with a lot of resources, and if you present us with an opportunity, and if it's right for us, we'll explore that.
And the other thing, too, is like, I love this conversation.
But I need detail. So kind of, give me an example. What do you need? How is it going to benefit us? What is it going to do for the overall, benefit of both of us?
Yeah, and that's the thing is I really do love this conversation because, once again, money's the talk of the town. Money's the talk of the town. But it's like, once again, let's look at your resources a little bit. If, you guys have a huge facility out in California, it's like, hey, Chris, you know what? Instead of giving me money, is there an opportunity I can come out and use your location to do some donuts and burnouts and make a fun promo video? And you can get approval for that. But let's say by you giving me that spot gives me an opportunity to create content. But by you sponsoring me that space, I then could potentially go sell other sponsors on the content of that video that I'm about to shoot. So I may not get monetary from you at that point, but I may get the resources to allow me to create a a movie or a commercial or whatever, but also look for monetary elsewhere. So it's not always that monetary we're talking about, because you can use that as a resource to get monetary elsewhere to help support a project. So even though you're not giving money, you're giving something that is equally as valuable that could turn into other monetary sponsorships elsewhere as well.
Right, absolutely. And I think too, it's K&N and an AEM, by virtue of being a K&N company, we do have a lot of resources outside, from tracks and to series. So there's all kinds of like cross-pollination that we can do. We have access to tracks. We have access to, like I said, suits and helmets. There's so many things that we can do that are not monetary. So you need to think outside that oftentimes.
Right, and that's the thing, is the creativity. This is just going back to how creative you can get working with the sponsors that can open the door. Because once again, you can do something like this and it could come off extremely well, and then next year you guys can come back, hey man, are you going to do something like that again, because I really love the outcome, we would like to get a little bit more involved. And then you actually may potentially be able to propose a monetary idea, but it's once again a risk and a gamble the first couple times, willing to kind of take a few hits just to get that first content piece created. And then once it's created, then you'd probably be surprised with the response of your sponsors or investors to willing to give you potentially more than what you asked for based off previous recognition.
Absolutely. Yeah, and also too, if you think about Vaughn, when we first sponsored Vaughn, we were his first sponsor, and by having K&N on Vaughn's shoulder patch or logos on his car, that also tells other sponsors that he's looking to shop towards, hey, like I have K&N on my side. K&N believes in me. K&N has made the investment.
Yep.
They believe in me. What can you do for me? And we're all helping each other. We all want the best for our drivers. We all want them to do well. We all want to see them succeed. And when you have those partnerships for that long, you become friends, and you want to see your friends do well. It's that simple.
That brings up another good point.
Yeah.
The other point that he brings up that's this. It's like, once again, when you have an alliance, let's say I have an alliance with AEM, right? And this is for kind of everybody.
How about a Drift Alliance?
A Drift Alliance.
Oh, there you go.
Or a Nerd Alliance.
A name take alliance.
No, but the thing is this. If Chris were to invest in me in AEM, and let's say he gives me a few intake kits a year, I get 2 or 3 for spares and backup, but do you know what? I can run an AEM sticker on my car, right? And then I can have Chris vouch for me later down the road. When you have a company like AEM or K&N or somebody of that caliber investing a little bit into you, it makes it easier for other companies to also jump on board, because it's like, do you know what? AEM and K&N probably wouldn't make a too terrible decision. They probably have done a little bit of research, and they're putting faith in that driver. It lightens the load for other companies to also make the dive into your program, because they have the trust and faith of a large company like AEM and K&N. So you got to look at a sponsorship like that. Yes, you're getting product, but it shows everybody else that there's somebody putting faith into your program, that it makes it easier to jump. It's like the first time you ask somebody for something, and it's like, well, who else are you working with? And it's like, do you know what? You guys are going to be the first guys. They have a lot on their shoulders, because it's like, do you know what? Nobody's really tested you. We don't know what we're capable of. I'm going to take the initial gamble to be a part of your program, hoping it works out. But it's when you have these other guys, a part of your program, putting faith into you and that you're going to perform the way you are and do what you do, it makes it for other guys to jump on. So, yes, it may be only product, but once again, it's how you twist it and sell it. You tell them that, hey, AEM's on board, more people might just jump on, because of the scale and the volume of that company putting faith into you will make it easier for other people to believe in you.
Yeah, and also I'll add this too. If you walk into the FD paddock, every manufacturer there, or every manufacturer's rep, for example, we all know each other. We all hang out with each other. We all see each other at every round, and we all talk.
Right.
And so, hey, how's so and so doing for you? What's going on over there? Anyone else you looking at next year? Like, we all know, and sometimes you'll notice that sponsors will come in waves. You don't just get one sponsor; you'll get maybe 2 or 3, or if it doesn't work out with me, hey, you know what? I can't help you this year, but I know so-and-so might be looking for somebody. You want to go talk to him,
Bunch of gossipers, Paco.
I mean, gossip, at the end of the day, that's what
it's not
that's
even
what moves,
even gossip.
No, I know. No, but it's you guys share information with each other. Just, I'm sure as you guys are catching up, hey, so you picked up a few other people. How they, I totally see. I just use gossip as a wide word.
It's even as simple as, not even driver specific, but hey, what's working for you? What kind of programs? What are you doing? What are you guys looking at next year? And then we'll look for drivers that fit that. So.
That's interesting. No, but that's just, once again, it's just and showing new perspectives from the other end that you may not think about. So it's like going back, and that brings up a good point of burning a bridge. If you sponsor somebody at AEM and they just totally throw their program in the garbage and don't do anything, or that you give them a filter and you see it up on Craigslist the next day for sale, probably the industry is going to find out about it pretty fast.
Oh yeah. We've seen that too with guys that build SEMA feature cars. There was this huge backlash 3 or 4 years ago with guys building features and basically using those feature spots to make money and to benefit off these guys that would just love to have a car at SEMA. You get this guy that gets a feature spot. He promises this guy that his dream is to have a car at SEMA. Hey, give me some money. We'll build a car for you. We'll get all these sponsors on board. And what ends up happening is it just dilutes the value for everybody because you just have a bunch of, trucks that all look identical at SEMA, and there's no value for anyone with stuff like that. So those guys get blackballed really quick.
That's usually one of the things that I always wanted to know. Like, what is it? What does a company looks for on a car that is going to SEMA? Like, is it like just?
I think it's changed. It's definitely changed. You have to have a plan.
Okay, because I think.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I think like one of the things that a lot of people promises is quality. Well, but quality it should be on every SEMA car. Like, I mean, if you're going to SEMA, there has to already be quality. Like that should be already like like that's already expected.
Right.
What's new in your build? Because we see a lot of and every time people go to SEMA and like everybody gets like some people gets close-ups of some welds or some finishes that's like, oh,
that's not done yet.
How's that like at SEMA, right?
Right.
So, like, what were you gonna say?
Well,
about that
I was gonna say, you have inspirations to go to SEMA, right?
Yep.
With the Corvette.
Yep.
The 2JZ Corvette.
2JZ Corvette.
We should do. How would you propose Chris with your project?
I probably put the knee down on the ground and open a little
Corvette box.
with a ring, and I'll be like, Chris, would you sponsor me?
And just slip it on his thumb because he only had one big ring.
Is it like one of those promposals?
Yeah, Chris, would you go to SEMA with me?
Would you go to SEMA with me?
Will you be my SEMA date?
Yeah, will you be my SEMA date? No, but so okay, you're building a project.
Yeah.
How would you sell me or Chris the project that you're building?
Well,
because I think that's really what it comes down to too.
So this is what I would do, and you guys were gonna tell me if I'm doing right or wrong. This is a sponsorship simulator 2018.
Okay.
Press start. Dear AEM, so prepare to get your minds blown. I'm building the most batshit crazy, totally opposite of what the norms said you should build a Corvette. This Corvette is not like anything else. It's for drifting, it's right-hand drive, it's 2JZ powered, full race car build, full quality build. It's got, the whole shebang, and I want AEM to be part of this project.
Can I? Okay, I want to say something first, Chris.
That was obviously the received version.
But I don't even know what you told me it was a Corvette, but I don't know anything about it.
Okay, so obviously there will be included a lot of photos, a lot of sketches, a lot of what's it called, like where the project's at right now, to at least show that this project exists.
Okay.
There's sketches of what it's gonna look like. There is like for example the people who's already part of the project. So look, these people already trust in me. And like links to my social media, my Instagram, my YouTube, a photo with my mom, like my mom supports this project. And
okay. So Chris, tell me what do you want to break that down, or do you want me to try to pitch it to you in a different way? And you tell me which one you like better. Or do you want?
I'll take your pitch.
All right, let's take Corey's pitch.
All right, Chris. I'll call Chris up and I'd say, "Hey, Chris, I got an idea."
But you already know him at this point.
I know, but okay. So you want me to do it as I don't know?
Yeah,
Chris?
like let's just approach AEM.
All right.
Yeah.
So I put together an email with Chris, and I'd put some detailed photos together, and I would mention something like, hey, AEM or attention of. I would probably call Chris, or I'd call AEM first to see if there's somebody there that I can get a name of or a contact to or speak with on the phone. Because I'd call Chris first, and I'd be like, hey, is there somebody that I can speak to that runs your marketing or SEMA division? And I'd probably get to somebody, or he'd say, no, Chris is too busy right now. But I already have his name at that point.
Okay.
So as long as somebody gives me some sort of first name, I can find a way to direct a message to Chris, right? That'd be my phase one. And be like, hey, Chris, I tried reaching out to you earlier today. I wanted to share a project I'm in the process of building that I'm going to debut at SEMA. I'm going to be building a 2JZ-powered C4 Corvette. C3 Corvette. Okay, I want to build a C3 Corvette. I already got the 2J for it. I'm running a CD009 350Z transmission. I got bride seats. It's one of a kind. It's at the fab shop now. It's just getting finished up. But what I would emphasize on more is the details and where I'm at in the build and tell him what's happening with it to see if that build fits what he's wanting to do. Because if I say it's just the most wildest Corvette, it's the baddest build Corvette, he still doesn't know. So I would try to detail that build out a little bit, and I'd say, hey, do you know if you have any interest in this project? Please let me please get back to me. I would love to touch base with you over the phone. And that'd be my pitch, something along those lines.
So you're asking for Chris to call you on the phone?
Sure.
All right, let's see what Chris Matye are.
All right, break them down, Chris.
Let's see. I like Corey's idea better. And to that, I would say, send me a proposal. Like, I want to know more about your project. You know, it might not be a booth car, but it's definitely something that we want to be a part of, and then we can possibly build on that relationship later. You know, you guys have to understand that with booth cars, it's a very big risk. It's a very big, it's basically what's going to draw people into our booth at SEMA. So it has to be right. It has to fit our plan. So it's very tough to get a booth spot. You know, for example, our last 2 booth cars were Forsberg's cars, his Datsuns, his 510 wagon. Actually, it's Mitch's 510 wagon, and his 280.
Yeah.
So we're not going to put someone in the booth that we haven't worked with before, that we don't already have a large investment with.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that it's a no. It just means that I need to know more about the project.
All right, so what is it about Paco's pitch that he could have worked on?
Which, by the way, when you said that,
he just started telling me all about it without knowing what our plans were.
Well, what I had in mind by telling you what it was about, it was like pretty much I was trying to describe my proposal. So what I was trying to say was like, this is what my proposal would have said with all these photos and all these descriptions.
Yeah, so we were looking for the pitch.
Okay, so
yeah, and like I said, it has to start before that.
Yep.
That conversation has to start before you work your way up to that. You know, but just since we're on the topic, I just got off the phone this year with our booth guy, or the guy that's doing our booth car, and it's going to be absolutely insane. That's all I can say.
So there is room for the Corvette.
There it is. Paco just sealed the deal.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, he's like, I just got the best proposal.
It's going to be a crazy. So it's BC Automotive.
Oh yeah, that guy's an animal.
BC Eziohara. He's building something crazy. He hasn't announced it yet, but it's going to be absolutely insane. And you know, the way all that started was, you know, we have this theme this year: street, track, and show. And this is going to be a vehicle that fits all those aspects in one vehicle. You know, it's a street car. You can also track it, and it's also so clean that it's a show car. So it fits our goal. It fits the message that we're trying to show our customers or potential customers.
Nice.
You know, it's relative. It's a guy with a large reach. It showcases our product well. We're also going to do videos to showcase the build. So there's many things that it hits on, because if you just have a cool show car, that's not going to be enough. There has to be a total package, and there has to be way more involved with that. And you have to have people engaged in that project, because if they're not interested, why would they come see your car? You know, right. Like, for example, you look at Turk's car, his GT4586. That car was internet famous before it even got to SEMA.
Yeah.
It was a destination car. People wanted to see that car, and it didn't matter what booth it was in, they were going to find it because of the video and the buzz that it created before it was even driven, or before it was even fired up. You know, that has to start months and months before the show even starts. So you have to be your biggest promoter.
And real quick, for people that don't know Bisimoto, this is the dude that built the 1,000 horsepower minivan, Honda Odyssey.
Yeah.
1,000 horsepower,
everything.
Yeah,
twin turbo Porsches.
Yeah, the dude's he made, and that's the other thing too, Chris, is that guy's not a race car driver, But
He was back in the day.
he was back in the day. But what he's really blown up for right now is just his creativity in building projects
And quality.
And still,
He
there's
thinks outside the box. Absolutely.
and there's still an opportunity. So a lot of people think, man, I got to get sponsored. I must be a race car driver. No, if you're creative and you have a great idea and you've executed a few times, there's no reason that you can't get support on projects that you're going to be showcasing elsewhere. So it's not limited
Absolutely.
to just automotive.
And also
Racing.
too, I mean, just to touch on him because he's such a great example. You know, he's not a one-man show. He has a core crew. His wife Hetty, she is extremely smart, and she's out there hustling just as hard as he is in the shop. She's out there hustling just as hard on the phones and through emails and in meetings. And she's creating opportunity for him to do his thing.
Yeah, that's
So you look at Hot Wheels. He's involved with Hot Wheels. You know, before the car is even built, you know, Hot Wheels, you know, will probably do a car of it. You know,
right.
I mean, never mind. You didn't hear that.
We have we have an LS400 with a couple little taps in the sheet metal. You know, it's a show car, it's a street car, and it's a race car.
And the livery is phenomenal.
It's already got an AEM intake. Brian is
you
just
go.
like laughing, like
Yeah, it's presentable.
it's presentable. Yeah, that would
It
make.
looks better in motion than sitting still.
So it's not a booth car. That one. Just think about that car for
At
the
SEMA.
for the SEMA's exhibition pad.
I do have another shell though. Maybe something.
No,
nice to do
no.
with
That
it.
car is perfect to hit the jumps.
Oh, okay.
You know, like the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
jumps that do the RTR truck.
Brian is Brian is going to join the Fun Haver tour with Vaughn with the LS400 this year. So hopefully we'll see big balls out there. No, yeah. So obviously, Chris, you've done so much, obviously for the sport, for pro guys. But let's go back a little bit. You know, let's emphasize on Pro Am or even Pro 2. What do you guys do for people that are wanting to get in the sport or wanting to get into Pro Am or Pro 2? What could some of these guys do to help build their programs and start developing a relationship? Obviously, you guys are looking to get more in that, and you're probably doing some Pro Am stuff right now.
Yeah, so for Pro-Am, we deal with Adam LZ. I'm sorry, not Adam LZ. With Aaron from Lone Star Drift, and we also deal with Brian from US Drift. And we have basically gift cards for podium finishers. So, you know, we want to support them. We also, for every racer, whether you're pro and we don't do a deal with you, or you're Pro 2, or you're Pro-Am, if you're in a sanctioned series, we offer racer pricing.
And
So
that
basically, it's a discounted price off our product if you run logos on your car. For Pro 2, we offer contingency. So this past round in Atlanta, the Pro 2 opener, we paid $1,000 out to the winners. So that was Dylan, Ola, and Travis Reeder. They all took home checks at Atlanta.
yeah. So at that
Just
point,
because they ran our logo and they were on the podium. So it's those kinds of programs. If you're in Pro 2, like email me, call me, get a hold of me. We'll get you discounted pricing, run our stickers. If you're on the podium, you're going to get a check. It's that simple.
but you know, you kind of just gave the evolution of what it takes. You know, get in,
Right.
get the product, get it at racer price, run a small decal, grow your program, grow your performance. Then it can open up to, do you know what? Let's get you some product, and then let's see what we can do in Pro 2. Now you can potentially start making money with you guys, doing contingency. Then you start
Absolutely.
making up the Pro 1, or you start getting more creative with some ideas and videos, and so you just laid out the kind of the steps of what it takes to grow. And I think a lot of other companies may operate this way as well.
Yeah, and I think it's important for companies to have that structure. And, you know, that's something that we've taken from being with, being under K&N's wing. K&N, in my opinion, does it very well with, you know, when you go to NHRA. We have sportsman contingency. We have, we have a program invested in our in NHRA that allows racers to take home some money when they win using our product. You know, we have that with NASCAR. You know, we're on pro teams. We're on the K&N Pro Series that we sponsor, all the way down to your local, dirt track stuff. I mean, we understand that racing is important to our brands, and winning with our product is also important to our brands.
Yeah.
You know, it offers product validity. So if the fans see that they can, put our product in the toughest environments and it's going to be okay, then they can take the message away that it's okay to use on their daily drivers.
It's all good points. I think, I think it's kind of enough information to lay the groundwork out for people to kind of grow and start developing on. And
now, question. I always had a question when it comes to, like, for example, like changing sponsors. Like, let's say you were
that's a great question,
that's-
Paco.
You were sponsored by somebody first, and then somebody else. Like, let's say you're not
So
necessarily.
it's like breaking up.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
How do you break up and
Ah.
still be
yeah,
friends?
because sometimes it's not necessarily a bad thing. Let's say you develop a good friendship with the company.
I have an
and,
example of this too.
You know, and
Yeah.
you're suddenly being maybe offered, or you found out that some other company needs what you can give them, and you have a better reward. Like, how do you do that? How do you and even like you as a company who's probably lost drivers the same way? How do you see that? You know, like
That's
how
a
to
great question.
how to approach that? Like, move on from or
one brand to another brand.
yeah.
From the racer side, I mean, I think I've been in that position, as a car builder back when I was building vehicles. We had a tire sponsor, and we had that too, but we had an exhaust sponsor that was on board, and they weren't holding up their end of the bargain as far as, or I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. We didn't get as much from them as we felt we could have from a different manufacturer. So when it came to like me emailing, event results to them and photos, like they weren't posting any of that stuff. They were doing nothing with it. And we had another sponsor that came to us that said, hey, like, we love what you guys are doing. We want to be a part of everything you guys do. We would love to share your photos. And so we made a deal with them. And it was important for me not to just, show up at the next event, after the contract was over. Instead of not renewing, I made sure that I called the previous sponsor and had a phone call with them, made sure that he knew what we were doing and why we were doing it, gave him an opportunity to maybe counter, but he was extremely thankful that I had that respect for him to call him and let him know, instead of just showing up, with a new product and new logos on the car. So it's being honest. It's having that conversation, before it happens. It's like if you're dating a girl and, you guys break up, like she knows, or you guys know that you don't just like fall out of love. You don't just stop. Like,
Yeah.
it leads up to that. There's something that goes on before that happens, before that big break happens. You both kind of know,
There's a feeling. I've had the same thing happen to me, and you'll see stories and you'll hear stories of people just cold turkey. One day somebody's on a new tire brand, and it's like, whoa. And that's happened with us with Driftcast. Sometimes we'll announce something, and we'll get reached out by their sponsor, and be like, what did they just talk about? And there was a hard split. For whatever reason, there may have been just a hard split where they're like, do you know what? I'm throwing in the towel. I'm done. I don't care. I don't care if I burn that bridge. It's because they just jumped, which has happened, and it happens quite a bit sometimes. I had to do...
also, unfortunately, I think it's really important for anyone that I sponsor to be able to reach me at any time. And everyone that I sponsor has my cell phone number. They know they can call. They know they can text. Like Corey, like, he'll call me when I'm laying in bed at 10:30 and, like, FaceTime me. Like... that avenue is open.
There's nothing I like to do more than drunk sex you at 2 a.m. Hey, Chris.
Well, do you know what?
But
do you know what? Why it's important to have that type of relationship? Because literally, I know he's laying in bed. I know he has a kid. And it's 11 o'clock at night. But it's like, for sometimes, people say business doesn't sleep. Sure, but the thing is when a creative idea hits me or hits another guy, I need to let it know and I need to let it out. And if somebody can retain that and say, do you know what? I love the idea. Push on it, get something to me in the morning. I know I'm not going to waste my time overnight creating something. So I know I can get immediate feedback with my partners if I just know I have an open call policy. Because you'll be surprised. Sometimes ideas don't come to you where you're unwinding, laying in bed, and it's like, do you know what? Let me run by the Chris real quick because I know he'll have some input. Or let's see if this fits the direction. But that's why communication is so key, is because you need to be able to vent creative ideas or strategies, and it needs to happen. And if the sooner you can figure it out and make a push for it, the sooner you can get it done. And this was happening.
And that's how the halftime show came about.
And that's exactly how the halftime show came about. Even like leading up to Atlanta when we were trying to do Maximum Rowdycast. It was like literally nights before the event, 10:30, 11:30. Hey, we need to do something there. What do you want to do? Well, let's have a sign competition. Okay, cool. And literally slammed it together just so we can try to get it done. Because the sooner you can find out, it just gives you an extra 2-3 hours, which you may need after a month. You know what I mean? Like, time matters in that. But going back to the separation thing, I've separated with some companies before. And the thing for me before I separate is I try to give it time. Like, for example, if I see something that they're doing, like they promised me, it's like, you know what, they haven't posted pictures, or I give them content to share and they don't share, I give them the benefit of the doubt. Hey, I reach out to them. Hey, man, do you know what? I got some more photos or content for you. Hopefully it's relevant. I'm trying to supply you all these after each round. You know, go ahead and do something with them. That's the idea. We're working together. And, you know, they may not do it once or twice, but I try to roll it 3 or 4 times. And then that's when you start looking for somebody else. And the other thing, too, is if somebody approaches you and they offer you a really good deal. For example, if I'm going to use just AEM, for example. I'm going to say this. Let's say I'm with an air company I've been with for 6 years. I appreciate the guys there. They've been giving me intake systems for the past 6 years. And Chris comes along and is like, hey, Corey, do you know what? I love what you're doing. I want to present you with a halftime show opportunity. I love Driftcast. I also want to try to get some product on your car. And he opens up opportunity for me, right? Let's say Chris opens up opportunity for me. What I have to look at now is, when do I got to start looking out for myself? You know, I have this great relationship with this other guy out here. He's been giving me product for 6 years, but I'm at my limit. I capped out with that guy. But when Chris presents something to me, I have to be willing to say, do you know what? I may have to break that relationship so I can go further, so I can grow further. It'd be selfish for that other guy to hold me down just by giving me 6 intakes a year when I have another opportunity. So I see it both ways. I would still reach out to that guy if somebody proposed me an opportunity, because I'd say, now I need to start growing. I need to grow with this brand. More opportunities showed up. No hard feelings. And usually at that point, that other dude that was giving you 6 intakes was like, man, I wish you the best. You know, we'll still be here for you if you need anything. But it's also being okay with yourself looking to grow and position yourself. So sometimes that breakup may open another door to grow into a larger brand. And I just did this a couple weeks ago. You know, I was with, I'll say the brands because I love the brand so much. You know, I was with 1552 for 4 years. And there's some of the best dudes out there. Matt and Brad and all the dudes there, amazing.
Very cool guys, yeah.
Very cool guys. And then I've also had a relationship with Motegi, as we all hang out together. Yep. And that's when it's like, hey, man, we want to do something with the boss. We want to do the halftime show. We want to, and that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the grow. And so I had to go back to those guys. And this is a real life scenario. I was like, hey, do you know what? I wanted to let you guys know I have an opportunity. I want to fill you guys in on it. And I just want to get, you know, you're okay that I do this. And once again, I appreciate everything you've done, but this is what I need to do to make that jump. And at the time, the brands were working with, you know, Rockstar and AEM. The brands were all collabing together. And so that's what happened.
It made more sense.
So I had to go with where the collab was. But once again, it was a very easy separation. And they said, hey, I'm glad you're able to get what you need to grow. We'll still be, but you know what I mean? It was that. When you saw an opportunity, I had to be willing to be like, this is already good, but I need to keep pushing it. Because if I didn't do that, none of this and us would all be working. So also look out for yourself. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like if there's an opportunity to prevent themselves, look out for it, because you may have to make that jump to grow. Yeah.
Well, we have, for example, when Alex Honadell, he was running Doof a few years ago.
Yeah, you've run into this.
You know, yeah, like he moved on into BN. He actually called us like, hey guys, just so you know, we got a good offer from BN Sports. And it's like, oh, dude, you know, absolutely. Like, actually, for us, it's like good, you know, because you go through so many kids.
Right. Oh, yeah.
It's actually a lot easier. But in a good way, it's like, hi, man, like whatever motivates you and helps you or to be a better drifter, present yourself as a better professional driver, we're not gonna try to stop you. Like, oh, come on, just stay with us. Like, you know, it will be selfish from us to try to make him feel bad for leaving. And at the end of the day, I mean, he was still running our LFC panels, so we still had a relationship with him, and you know, everything went pretty good. Yeah. But it's just like when suddenly a driver shows up next year without saying anything, it's like, oh, okay, well, I guess, well, we weren't, you know, like there wasn't a good relationship or something. Like there was like not that trust maybe, and that's what feels weird for sure.
And, you know, I'm sure you have a perfect relationship with Alec and his dad. You know
yeah.
I mean? Like,
dude, I just saw, like, right now, just saw Gail. He was just joining the conversation right now, Gail Honadell.
Yeah, so, but that's, once again.
Gail. He's cool.
Yeah,
he's super nice.
All the Honadells are great people, you know. And that's the thing. Like, even if they're rocking a different brand or something, it doesn't affect.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'll still say hi with the same level of friendship and love and hug them and wish them well, you know. Like, at the end of the day, I think that's the part where creating a good relationship and a good friendship with the people you work on comes into play.
Yeah, I totally agree. And yeah, it's funny you say because you've experienced this too. Because I think between AEM, WiseFab, and Doof, you guys are probably on more cars than any other sponsor out there.
Gee, yeah, I mean, like as far as like cars that are rocking our equipment, our parts, probably.
Yeah, I think you guys are the top 3 brands in Formula Drift as far as product on car. No, but it's like, once again, I've heard stories about you where it's like you would sponsor a kit, there'd be no decals, there'd be no post, you put your faith, you put your trust in people, and then you made the investment. That product still cost you money.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And so you're taking that gamble and you see something like that, and then it's like you have to be the hard ass to say.
And you know what? Like that's one of the things for example, Chris is representing a brand that's, I would say, like multi-million or maybe billion-dollar company. You know,
right.
In our case, it's more of a like mom and dad, pops,
dad
shop.
and dad.
Yeah, Chris and I, Chris Soren and I, we're mom and dad. Doof mom and dad, and we do our parts ourselves and all that. And it's not maybe the same level, but yeah, it does. It happened where like we, when we talk to the drivers, we're like, no, we don't need to you do not need to sign an agreement. We try to
We're
keep
here
it,
to support you.
Just keep it friendly. Whatever size you consider the sticker should be, because obviously we understand, that you're trying to sell the real estate on your car. It's fine. Just do whatever you consider it's okay.
Right.
And in most of the times, everything went great.
Right.
But there's been a few cases where like, but I thought that because I pay for a sponsorship price, that means I don't even have to run a sticker. Or my sticker guy forgot, and just forgot for the rest of the season. So it happens,
Right.
And after that happened, it goes again to how these drivers reacted towards that, like to see if we, okay, we understand, or if it's more like like we just like we still wish you good,
right? But we're not getting in return.
We just can't do this. At the end of the day, we're not trying to leave off Doof, but we're not a charity either.
Right. Well, the thing is, too, is like when you give a kit and people pay, let's say people pay, you're still paying a majority of the kit out of pocket yourself.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, you're just helping me support the cost of this. So, yes, you're paying, but you're still paying half. I'm still literally paying cash for that other half. So it's
most of our drivers, there's money coming out of our pockets.
Right.
And this literally comes out of Chris and I's pockets. It's not like 2F has a huge bank account, just like, all right, who wants free body kits?
Even though I wish that was the case, which it might be, but
I mean, there's been cases where we have given like no charge, body kits, but also the driver who's getting these body kit, they're offering quite something in return. And for us, it's like the investment. Like, okay, you know what? Like, we're going to take a hit on this one. It's coming out of our pockets, but we trust you. We believe in you. And we had good experiences. Like, pretty much every driver we have worked with at 100% sponsorship level, we had more than what we spend with them.
With return.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're super happy with
that. Well, see, that's the other thing, too, is I think from a driver standpoint, if you're running a really good operated program, what you're doing has value, and it has value to the right people. And that's why I kind of say, when you sell something, have confidence in what you're selling, because what you're doing is could potentially help and save the company money while giving them exposure. And it's like, for I want to use us for example in our strategy. It's like, do you know what, we do the halftime show. A lot of us create our own media. We create photos and we share that, and we also give it to our other sponsors to share with. But think about this. I'm going to use AEM since Chris is here. It's like if we create all this content and photos and videos, and they have to send out a media guy, they have to send out a photo guy, they have to send out somebody to work their booth. Some companies may spend thousands of dollars to get a video guy there to pay for his food, rental car, hotel for 3-4 days. And for us, it's like, well, we're already there. We can provide a service to them with them saving money, but then we also get an investment back. So there's ways to move things around. I guess it's kind of like just finding a way to move the numbers and make it work for them and work mutually. So there's so many strategies and things like that, but I think we've talked about so many options, man.
Yeah.
It's out there. So Chris, go ahead, Paco. Do you have one other thing?
Well, yeah, and when it comes to also sponsors, so this is another question that maybe a lot of new drivers might have, and I mean, I'm basing this on things that have happened to me, and I've heard other people talking about. So, when you are starting and you, like somebody comes to you, like you're doing good, but somebody comes to you with an opportunity, like for a sponsorship opportunity that just doesn't seem that good. Like, for example, you get approached by, I'm trying to think, like Qinghao air filters.
Okay. Qinghao air filters, Chris.
Qinghao air
Qinghao?
Qinghao air
Oh
filters.
my God.
And they're like, hey, we want you to be our driver and exclusive, this and that, and we can do this for you. And you're like, this is the first time a company has actually approached you. And you're like starstruck, like, oh my God, a company is trying to work with me. Like, I feel like sometimes you should pass. I mean, and this is a question. You should pass on certain companies to sponsor you, or should you just like go with them first and then maybe move on? Or like, like sometimes, like, let's say like if you get associated with a company that's not necessarily gonna give
a recognizable brand,
recognizable, or let's say they have a bad reputation.
Okay, yeah.
Either or, like let's say they just don't really add up to what they're giving you.
On that, I think that works both ways, because that could be a driver reaching out to a sponsor but have the same characteristics, if that makes sense.
Sure, but as a company that is like looking for, like, a new driver approaches a company that you are, as a company, you can be like, okay, well, let's give it a try. We'll give you this.
But if, like you said, the company may have bad rep, the driver might have bad rep.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if the driver has bad rep, and like during like your, let's say you sponsor him, and he does something that you don't like, you can totally be like, oh, just so you know, we sponsor him. That was it. We don't share the same views, whatever. But let's say like you sign an agreement. You as a driver, you sign an agreement with a company to be like, they're like, oh, we want to sponsor you for 2 years, and like, oh, okay, yes, or something like that, and it turns out it wasn't like that great of a deal, because like, let's say now let's say now AEM is interested, but you're like, you have now a contract with Qinghao intakes. So
I think the biggest takeaway from something like that, or that kind of situation, is just to be clear about what they expect from you, and also what you expect from them, and that way there's no surprises. What
do you think, Corey?
Yeah, no, I totally agree, because I think this can go both ways. Because I think if a driver that approaches Chris, and let's say he has pictures of him, butt chugging beers on every post, and
but
he has a bad rep, right?
Yeah.
Does Chris want to risk getting involved with a driver that has a bad rep?
Yeah, but
absolutely not.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the other way.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It works the same both ways.
Yeah, but I'm more interested on the way, like, you as a driver, because like,
well, why would I work with somebody that has?
Paco, are you asking how do you approach a situation like that?
Yeah, like, I mean,
if a new company comes out?
Yeah, like, would it be wise to pass on a not so good sponsorship, or should you just go for it?
I think it's definitely, like with anything, you should investigate and see if it works for you, and definitely have the conversation. And if something doesn't feel right, then I would say step away. And that's kind of how I approach many things. If I don't go with my gut, I'll probably regret it later.
Yeah.
So I have to kind of trust my instincts. I have to do my research. We're adults. You have to be accountable for your actions. And so It's up to you to evaluate, is that right for your program? Is it right for you? Is it right for my future? Do our goals align? Do we want the same thing? Can we help each other out?
Yeah, because I'm
blinded by, hey, we're going to do this for you. It has to work for everybody.
Yeah. And I'm saying it, I mean, I would like just to say this is a question, but this is also the answer, but I like, obviously, you guys to give me your points on that. And I'm saying this because I've seen it even at a semi and professional level, where some people shows up with sponsors that might be questionable. And you're like, will this guy, should he actually be with this company? Or like, how is he going to get away? Like, imagine like if Corey gets sponsored by Narcos, what's his name? Pablo Escobar.
Oh yeah, mommy.
Like, just show up and like, well, did they give me money? Like.
Yeah, no, there's. Well, here's a
No,
prime.
it has to be, I think ultimately it has to be right for you. You know, so
It has to be what?
it has to be right for you.
Well, here's an
As far as what
example.
they're off.
There's actually some people that wanted to get sponsored by a strip club, right? Or there's some people that want to get sponsored by a cigarette company, and some other sponsors don't want to be associated with those two brands because of
Absolutely.
the
Danny George's example, he was main sponsor was Shango, the weed.
Right. Right.
What if one of the companies who also sponsors, his intakes, they're like, oh, you know what?
We don't want to be associated with men.
Respectfully, we just don't share.
Oh, I'm sure that happens.
We don't share our weed. It's just for us.
Yeah. Well, I think Danny was smart because he strategized that where he didn't have to count on anybody else for sponsorship because he knew it was one of those things where it was risky.
Yeah.
It was like, man, I don't know if people want to get on this marijuana train with me. But he strategized it well where he's like, you know what? He created an alliance with
That's kind of like his thing. Yeah, he's smart when it comes to that.
He did smart stuff with it. But yeah, I think there was a lot of talk on sponsorship.
But for example, like, Chris, would you like if one of your drivers suddenly shows up with a sponsor that just like weird? For example, I mean, not too long ago, a driver actually came up. I don't know if he was a sponsor or not, but he had like a political campaign backing him up, and
Ross Petty?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. It was like maybe some people will be like, hey, you know what? Like, let's not politicize, or let's not that's kind of like taking away half of the audience or half of the fans. So, would you guys consider removing sponsorship because driver has a controversial sponsor?
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely worth exploring. If it's not right for us, or if we feel it's going to jeopardize or alienate our fans. And if that's a primary sponsor, that's definitely something that we need to evaluate. Absolutely.
Yeah, like I know, like Corey, I know the clan approached him. They're like, hey, Bobby, we want to sponsor your car.
God, Paco, my lord.
And Corey was like, I don't know. Let me ask.
I don't know if I'd be doing that thing there.
I'm talking about the Wu-Tang Clan.
Oh yeah. That's what I meant too. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. We're on board for that.
Yeah, old dirty bastard hit me up from the grave. So anyways, outside of sponsor talk, I know we covered a lot there. I don't think there's anything else that I could pick off of mine. But obviously, you're a drift fan as well. We usually see you at every drift events. What are you thinking about Seattle and who are you picking?
Ooh, Seattle. So that's what, the 5/8 bank?
Yep.
That one, I would say, I'm going to go with Forsberg on that one.
Oh.
I like the way he's been driving the banks.
Forsberg on the banks.
Solid.
What's your top three?
Good setup and just, yeah. I'm going Forsberg on that one.
Okay, you got two more. Let's go top three.
Top three?
Yep.
Corey's trying to put together his
I'm trying to put my top three for the halftime show. So.
Kristaps and JTP.
Oh, okay. No, I think those are all solid picks.
It's a pretty strong.
I'm going June Ming, Darren McNamara, and Samuel Hubinet.
I'm going Corey Hosford, Brian Young, and Sam Nalvin by
inches.
By inches. I was gonna say something worse.
Yeah, don't Paco. No. Don't do it yet. No, I think obviously are you gonna be at Seattle this year, Chris?
Probably. I think I'm gonna skip that one, but I will be at St. Louis.
Oh, bitchin'. Perfect. Yeah, because that's your Pro 2 round. Yeah, I think St. Louis is going to be cool, too. I haven't seen much on the track. I heard it's supposed to be super fast. Obviously, Pro 2 will be running that round with Pro 1. Going back to Seattle, Paco, who's going to be your winner in Seattle, just real quick?
Oh, should I just like save it for...
Just pick one.
Like an actual winner for Seattle?
Yep. And then on Big Ball's thoughts.
I mean, obviously, I don't think... But I want to see, maybe not the winner... But I want to see Matt Van Kirk on the podium. Maybe even on the third. Well, he's a local. He knows that track. He's driven it many times. And we've seen...
I'd say top 8.
That could be a top 8 for Kirk.
Let's say top 8, but let's say he just gives a surprise.
So you're going to go that underdog. Young, what do you got?
Oh, that's a tough one, really, because I'm looking at the drivers' point standings right now. So a lot of it has to do with how hard they're going to push because they're so close to trying to get into like the top 3 points.
Right.
But the drivers who have been consistently winning is always something to consider as well. But again, drifting is just so unpredictable. Though coming up with the winners for this is just really difficult to try to.
We
get
have
accurate.
less than 100 points between 1 and 5.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Everybody can still make it.
I got my pick. I know who I'm picking, but Brian, go ahead and shoot it out first.
Okay. All right. Off the top of my head, I think JTP's been on fire all year, and he's definitely going to be on a podium.
Dude, he rips at Seattle too. By the way.
He kills it there, and I think he's finally dialing himself down just a notch to where he's not taking himself out anymore.
Right.
But he is his own worst enemy, is what I've been seeing from his driving. As for the battles, I was really hoping to see Chelsea do a lot better this year, and I think maybe Seattle, this is going to be the changeover for him to come back.
Let's go back to last year, Vaughn and Chelsea in Seattle.
Yes, Chelsea and
that
Vaughn
was the run.
Insane.
That was one of the battles of the year last year, and I think that's going to be a repeat. So I do think that Vaughn and Chelsea both are going to be in the top 4, along with Justin Pollock. And I think I'm just being completely unbiased here, but I don't think the Irish guys are going to make the top 4.
Okay.
I think they're going to get knocked out early, but the fourth and final person in the top 4, I believe, would be probably going to say Odie.
All right.
Odie's just. I watched Odie at the JGK, and he was killing it out there in a car that definitely looked underpowered compared to everybody else. And I really think he has
Was he in the
driving
E36?
skill. Yes. He was doing magic with that car, what it looked like to me.
Speaking of Nicholas, isn't it incredible that we have these up-and-coming young drivers that are all like less than 14 years old?
Yeah, it's nuts.
I'd say that maybe in a couple years we could have Pro 2 drivers that are all under 16.
I could see that.
And by that I mean Dominic Martinez, and we have Sorensen. That just got his license.
Brandon Sorensen.
Yep, and possibly Nick Nack if he can get some.
Yeah, do you know what I think? It's like any other sport right now. Any other professional motorsports, or even any other sport out of this, baseball, golf, race. They all have outlets. Go-karts for motorsports. Each sport kind of now has like a little test ground to develop these guys at a young age. That I think drifting it grew so fast that we never actually developed from the bottom up. We went from the top down almost. And so I think now we're figuring out now there's an opportunity to get these youngsters in, either if it's through some sort of type of go-kart or just getting them driving a car at 13, 14 years old. I think right now we're figuring out that group of soon-to-be athletes. And, dude, it's so incredible where the sport's at, and just the tandem now this year from last year, the qualifying from this year to last year. I think in the past 2 years, the sport has literally quadrupled in growth and talent that you're going to have to starting at 5, 6, 7 years old, driving something to be able to compete in the future. And that's leading me to my top 3, or actually my top winner. And
your top winner is Oscar Mayer.
My top winner is Oscar Mayer, but my podium winner for this round is Peter.
Okay.
Number 1?
Dude,
I don't blame
watching him drive in New Jersey. He almost took out Dean if his motor didn't blow up. I'm going back to how consistent and robotic this guy is. He's been so robotic, and watching him drive in New Jersey was
Peter or Dean being robotic? Okay.
Peter has been just on a completely different. And his Instagram is probably one of the best Instagrams that have finally popped up on the internet.
He's my new favorite.
He's my new favorite person. He doesn't post much, but when he does, it's perfect. We also saw a picture of Peter naked on a racetrack, hitchhiking.
Yes, I was hoping that'd be his first post actually on Instagram.
Yep.
That was really funny.
Yeah, he's just.
And I think Dean has that photo, right?
Yeah, Dean has that photo, but
you should post it.
I think he's gonna be the one, dude. I'm putting Peter lighting it up this round, and even I have Peter, and I think James might do it too. But I have Peter, Forsberg, and Chelsea.
That's good.
That's gonna be my 3.
Good.
But anyways, let's hit Instagram questions real quick because I know we got a few for Chris.
All right. Well, should we start with Macho Man Randy Sanchez?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our good old Macho Man
That's a
Randy
good name,
Sanchez.
too.
Yep.
You think an AM intake will give me enough horsepower to physically dominate an actual horse?
It wouldn't hurt. Yeah, absolutely.
Just stick your intake, whatever you please, to give you that competitive edge.
There you go.
Oh, there's pirate jokes here.
Let's see here.
I have one from Aaron Osebi, our our one of our media collaborators.
Oh, he stopped by our shop today.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Well, he's cheating.
Doing this, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, like, before asking his question, so Aaron, he's doing the he's gonna go to Seattle in his he's gonna drive his Datsun 510, and he's got a pretty cool project going on, which I imagine he stopped by to talk to you guys about that.
Yeah, no, he picked up some product from us.
Oh, nice, good. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
he'll be having
yeah,
our
Aaron's
product on his car for that drive.
he's gonna be doing like some video series, and I don't want to reveal everything just yet, but probably next episode we'll tell you more about it. Definitely keep an eye on
I
him.
felt bad. He had a GoPro and a camera, and I'm like, dude, you're welcome to take pictures in the lobby, but I can't take you back on the production floor with the camera stuff. But yeah, his kid was bummed too. He wanted to take some photos.
Oh yeah, so yeah, because this is a guy who showed up with his kid, and he gave us a huge can of Chef Boyardee pasta, and his kid as well takes photos. So yeah, they're gonna be driving together all the way to Seattle, and his Datsun 510 is gonna be cool. And they're gonna be listening to Driftcast all the way up there, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. And he's asking, if you had to pick a new driver to sponsor, who would it be? Pro and Pro 2, one driver from each.
So I assume drivers that we don't currently sponsor.
I guess, yeah.
How about I tell you guys what we do like, and who's
Yeah,
doing
like
stuff right.
maybe more like that, yeah, because obviously he's saying like the word sponsor, but yeah, like what do you like in drivers right now?
I would say someone that's well-rounded, so they have good media behind them. Someone that's appealing, someone that's funny. I'd say Alec.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think he's doing stuff right.
He's pretty.
Yeah.
Go ahead, hit him, Paco.
So we have some more. Let's see.
Okay, here's one from Bent Ranter. Are you guys okay with Corey's permanent addition to his downpipe?
I wanted to post that photo so bad, but yeah, I don't think I would be able to get away with that.
You want to hear a funny story about
Absolutely.
that? So I think I may have talked about this before.
I saw a bunch of copycats posting that stuff too.
Dude, it went crazy. My dick downpipe went crazy.
Dick
so the
down.
fun. Did I tell you guys about that when I was at Grid Life and I had the hood popped and everybody would walk over and look at it?
Oh no, tell us.
Oh my god! So obviously, car got a lot of attention at Grid Life.
Yep.
And I'd pop the hood and everybody would walk around. Keith and I would leave the hood popped and people would come and look around like, oh, that's a fucking cool looking 2JZ. And like I remember this one specific moment. I must have had a group of 10 dudes walk up at one time with like 2 chicks, and like they're all looking at the car and they're talking to me, asking questions. They're asking Keith questions. There's this one guy that was standing on the passenger side, looking in through the wheel well and looking at the downpipe, and like all his friends walked away, and I see him standing there and he's like this, like trying to tap his buddy next to him, but everybody's gone. And then I see him turn around. Hey guys, he's got a dick on the downpipe. He's got a dick on the downpipe. And then literally the 10 dudes walked right back over and they're like, he's got a dick on the downpipe. And they just all started taking pictures of the dick on the downpipe. But it was the funniest thing I ever seen because the dude like went frantically looking for his friends behind him and they realized he weren't there. Then he just started yelling across the pit about the dick on the downpipe.
That's a Grid Life classic now.
Yeah, it was one. And once again, the reason that is on the downpipe is because remember we had a poll on Driftcast. What should I get welded on that? And that's what everybody said. And we did it. And we're a man of our word. So
Corey's a man of his word. There you go.
Yep. So what I did is I did get some people talking about I shouldn't have a big penis exposed in my downpipe.
But they
so
were
what
listening.
I did is it's an Easter egg now. So I have some heat wrap around. And you see a little bit of it, but it's an Easter egg. So only Maximum Driftcast listeners will know about the penis on the downpipe.
So it is there.
It is there, 100%.
It's really, it's just a metaphor for your driving style, Corey. You just left your dinger on the track.
Yeah, just leave it on the
left
track.
it all there. Yep.
It
falls out.
Here you go. This is from Chris JDSS. Fight, fuck, feed. Paco, Kristaps, Jared.
No.
Wow, what a combo.
All right.
Yep.
I like to think that if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, right?
Right.
So I think Kristaps, he's the toughest guy in FD.
Yep.
So I'd want to fight.
Oh
Kristaps.
my God.
So you got to beat the best.
So hold on.
He's the best.
So tell me
I want to
this.
be tested.
But here's the other thing too. We found out Kristaps is a family man last episode.
Oh, so is
know.
Chris.
I know. So doesn't that give you some sort of sympathy and like a new outlook that he's a kind of a little softer guy?
Dad versus dad.
Dad versus
fight,
dad.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dad fight.
Then you-
The
Jared-
two softball dads going
And the
at
Jared
it.
thing
is also a dad.
I don't want to fight him because I want to beat him. Or beat him up. I just
Right.
want, I want to be tested, and I feel
to win.
I feel that the Kristaps would be the best test in the ring. So I'd go with fight Kristaps. I'd go with Paco the Latin Lover. So
Okay.
you gotta,
Paco's
gotta- yeah.
pucker up, Paco.
be the best. You got to beat the best.
Yep.
Thank you.
And was it eat?
Feed.
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 Jared.
Oh yeah,
Easily feed Jerry.
Feed him,
That
yeah.
dude can just eat.
Yeah.
Beer and pretzels.
yeah. We had beers last weekend when he was down here. So yeah, for sure.
Well, that's an easy one.
How many? This is from Allen Union. How many hot dogs / cans of SpaghettiOs can you fit in your intake?
I got Corey's intake right here, actually.
Oh, there.
That's like a
It looked
chef.
like it shrunk a little bit.
Yeah, I can fit maybe, was it 1 can?
He just won.
1.5 cans of spaghetti in that one.
Nice.
Are we doing some sort of crazy carbon intake or anything? Or are we just making that one?
That's the plan.
That'd
So I'm working on it hard.
So actually, you see that intake that he sold? And that's actually the intake off my car. We made, so Chris supplied us, like next day aired, intake system, and then we had to cut, chop, modify to get the filter to work with the throttle body, or the turbo,
yeah.
sorry.
That's a great thing of working with a good company.
Dude,
Like,
it was able to get product there immediately, and we ended up modifying this at the track, and then, see, before that, there was no marks on it, so what we did is we actually labeled the marks on it. So when I sent it back to AEM, they know where the top, the center is. So when they create a new piece to fit my car, it's specific to exactly what we sent them. So they have the direction.
Yeah, so the idea with this one is we will duplicate this one exactly like it is, bead roll it for Corey,
Yep.
and powder coat it, put an AEM badge on it like this.
And burnt. We're
On there.
official.
And
Custom
that'll
intake.
be one. And then the other idea is to take this one, we're going to cut it in half this way, cut it in half like that.
like a hot dog bun.
Yeah, basically section it like a hot dog. So we'll split it open, and then we're going to make a mold for it, and then we're going to make this in carbon. So it'll be pre-pregged dry carbon.
Isn't that pretty cool?
When it comes to Corey weight savings, they take you long.
You know,
Take you places.
it's swag points. We're going for swag and we're going for cold air.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you'll have two. You'll have one aluminum, one carbon fiber, just a spare in case anything happens to it.
Nice.
So
Heck yeah.
I have a question right here from J. Lua Love.
Oh,
Ooh, so she's asking, "Are you single? Can I
She
slide?
sounds hot.
Can I
She
slide
sounds-
into your DMs?"
look at
yeah,
it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, go ahead and
Yep,
send
right,
me Chris.
right
Send that message over to Chris.
Here's one from XSV219. How do you make your products suck better than the rest? Get it? Because they're intakes. Ha.
extensive testing,
Tons of testing.
tons of testing.
Yeah, you guys have like flow benches and all kinds of like vacuum and you guys even have autoclaves,
K&N's
right?
Name, our corporate name is K&N Engineering.
Got it.
And we definitely take the engineering part very seriously. Besides all the track validation that we do, everything is tested here. We have plenty of engineers here, plenty of testing facilities, data for everything, and unless we can prove it that it makes power, we won't sell it unless it does. So
Right. Yeah, I think that was it on the questions. I know they were super technical, Chris, and you're caught off guard by them, but you survived. So we appreciate you surviving the toughest part.
It's like he's never talked to us before, so he doesn't know what kind of banter we were gonna hit him with.
Yeah. No,
Yes.
once again, I'm really excited that you were able to come on the show and spend some time with us because, once again, you, Chris, are in a very crucial role for the community and the drivers because you are honestly the type of person that allows new guys to get on track. You give us the ability to continue growing our program. And without people like you in these positions, it really hurts the automotive industry. And so we need companies to support the growth. We need companies to help support the drivers because, once again, that's what allows us to continue to grow. So thank you for everything that you have done for us. And thank you for sponsoring the Lawnmower Racer. Thank you for sponsoring the Drag Racer. Thank you for sponsoring the Pro-Am Drifter because you're the one that's helping this all happen. So you're a huge, huge asset to the community and to us as well.
Thank you guys. It really means a lot.
Yeah, no, it really does. But anyhow, Paco, do you want to thank some people?
Yeah. We're going to start by thanking our Patreons.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Go ahead,
Paco.
Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here, Corey. We would probably be living
in your living room watching Netflix.
Yeah, pretty much. There will be no studio. We'll just like be doing on the back of our cars.
Probably.
You get it? We will be doing it.
Yeah, or we would be
wink.
doing it at Sam's house again on his balcony with one camera.
In California?
Yep, in California.
I have to drive there every weekend. Ugh. So thank you guys. Don't forget, every other episode we're gonna be doing giveaways for our Patreon. So if you contribute with $1, you get one entry.
Let's put Chris on the spot. Chris, is there anything cool we can give away next episode? Do you have anything like any gift cards, any intake systems,
any gift cards to Apple?
Let's give away an intake.
Okay, you want to give a new intake?
Let's give away an intake. 1 sec.
So let's figure this out here.
For next week or for next show?
Yep, next show.
Yeah, for next show. So
how about at Seattle?
Okay, at Seattle? Let's do that. So as Seattle comes up, we'll announce air intake. This is a full system, right? As long as you guys make it, you'll give a full intake system, cold air, ram air, hot air, cold air, whatever you guys have. If they make it for your car and you win, we will send you through Chris and the wonderful guys at AEM a full intake system. So we'll have full...
For your race car, for your tow truck, for your lawnmower, for...
And whatever
generator or whatever you have.
That's awesome. Sweet. So now it looks like Chris is giving back to you guys. We'll post the giveaway rules next week. It's once again going to be Patreon based.
So let me explain it again. So if you join Patreon and contribute with $1, you get one entry for the giveaways. If you do $2, you get 2 entries for the giveaway. So there's guys who are doing $5. There's our good buddy Kid is doing $20
per episode.
Somebody's like, holy shit, he's probably gonna win everything every time.
Yeah.
So he gets 20 entries. So it's up to you. Like for example, Sam Nalvin just joined. Sam
is a Patreon.
He's a $1 patron of his own show.
Thanks, Sam.
Yeah, thank you, Sam. So that's how you can support the show this way. And thanks to you guys, we
giving back through AEM to you guys. So once again, thanks again to AEM for being a huge part of the show. Chris, thank you for having faith in us and the program that we do. We obviously couldn't do that without you. We have Motegi Racing. Those guys keep us afloat. They're also a big supporter of the halftime show. Next and Tire with the Infera Club. Paul and all those guys, thank you for being part of the show.
Hey,
and
go to Instagram. Cool. Go to Instagram and find at NFERA, Infera Club.
Join them. They're doing some fun stuff there.
Good stuff going on there.
Also follow AEM Intakes, McLeod, everybody. Thank you so much for being part of the show. And until then, we'll see you next week right before Seattle. Later, guys.
Good night,
gals.
Chris.
Good night, Chris. Sleep
Good
tight.
night, Sam. Good night, Brian.
I'll text you at 12 or 11 or 1, Chris. So just be ready.
Okay.
Bye, guys. See you next
later,
week.
Later. Bye-bye. Bye, Sam.
God, those guys are dicks.
Get him up.